Я подключение сейчас передаем настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Talking Lead AK KORNER, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp USA.
All right, lead heads, welcome back to the kickoff episode of Season 6 of the Talking Lead AK Corner. And as you saw there, we are welcoming back Pioneer Arms Corp as our presenting sponsor. Woohoo! So welcome in, CJ, Michael. You both are together. I wasn't expecting this. You guys are down in Florida today. I was expecting Michael to be in Poland, but this is great. I could have come to Florida to do this.
Yeah, it's too cold in Poland right now for Michael.
He's migrated to the U.S. Brought his dogs, I understand.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Also joining us this episode, back for another season of the Talking Lead AK Corner, is your favorite Russian soldier, historian, author, all around just a great guy, ladies and gentlemen, Marco Vorobiev. Marco, welcome in.
Hey, Marty, you left out a few things. Marco is a former Spetsnaz, and he also has the equivalent of the U.S. military Purple Heart because he was wounded severely in Afghanistan. So not only is he a Russian soldier, former Russian soldier, he's a hero of the motherland.
Well, you do me much honor, I have to say. But I'm glad to be back. It's kind of became this regular thing for me, and for and I hope listeners learn something from me. Or
Our listeners
don't judge me harshly though. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad to be back, and awesome. So
Marco, we're glad to have you back. The listeners wouldn't have it any other way. You brought so much leaducation to the show last season that I think I would have had a mutiny if we didn't have you back for season 6. So welcome back, and thank you. And
thank you. I'm humble. Thank you.
CJ was giving your bona fides there. Let's add them back to the stage. You guys back? Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Again, I'm using a whole new system here, Leadhead. So if I jack something up, forgive me.
Perfect.
It's going to get better as we go each episode. But CJ himself, CJ's been on the show several times, but for you new listeners, CJ is also a hero himself. Many tours over in the sandbox. Many medals. I mean, I don't know how many medals, how many Purple Hearts and all that you got, CJ?
I've only got 4 Purple Hearts, Silver Star, Bronze Star, and some other stuff.
Also an author.
I think I have to reciprocate here. So in order for someone to comprehend what CJ did, was that his Bradley was the first one into Baghdad.
That's Bradley for you. You don't speak Russian. He said Bradley. That's
Bradley.
a tank.
So that's tells you something.
So and CJ is also an author. He wrote the book Carnivore, and it's a great book. I've read the book, listened to the audio. I've done both of them, and absolutely enjoy that. CJ, we're going to have you on. Have we done an episode of just talking about your book? I don't think we've done that, have we?
I don't think we have. I mean, it was a long day. So, I mean, that's a part of my life that happened a while ago. And, it's the best way to describe it is, that was just a lot of stuff happened.
A lot of stuff happened. That's true. So we'll have you on like a normal episode, and we'll talk about your experiences in your book there. Maybe Marco would want to co-host on that episode too.
Well, absolutely.
I'll be honored to do it. But I think go ahead, CJ. I'm sorry.
I said, you got to have the Russian guy there talking about the Russian guns that either I defeated or shot me. So,
right, exactly. So we'll do that. And then Michael, I think this is your very first time on the podcast, even though we did a podcast from Poland about 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we were you on that one?
Yeah, I was that time on the podcast in Warsaw.
Okay. Yeah. It was at the range, or I think it was at that
At the shooting range. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So welcome back. Michael is the president of Pioneer Arms Corp, Radom, Poland. And is it Radom or Radom?
Radom.
There you go. I like it when you say it better. It rolls off the tongue a lot better. So welcome in, Michael and CJ.
Thank you for
again, I'm just shocked that you guys are together and you're there in Florida. You're here in the United States. How long are you going to be here?
Probably for another few months. So I'm becoming a local guy right now.
Okay. So I need to come there and we need to do the show.
Agreed.
While you're easier. Yeah, because I don't like the winter either. It's cold here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, it's cold in Florida.
Boo-hoo.
I mean, it's down to like 50 here at night, so it's getting definitely colder.
Yeah, so that's what Marco has.
I don't know how you guys survive at night at 50 degrees.
It's rough. I've got to put on my winter hoodie.
Yeah, Marco's thermostat's set on 50 degrees in his house. You think?
No, I would probably just die if it was at 50 degrees in my house.
Well, if it was any higher than that, it would melt this cold part.
It's 52, so it's slightly.
All right, guys. So let's get into this. We are welcoming Pioneer Arms Corp to the podcast, presenting sponsors of season 6, and we have got a great season in store for you lead heads. As you can probably surmise, we're going to be talking a lot about Polish AKs, Polish weaponry. Pioneer Arms Corp is known for more than just their AKs. They make the PPS 43, the PM 63s, probably something that. Look at Marco. He's holding up one of his PM 63s, and he's got the holster too. Look at that.
Holster, yeah.
Very nice. Mine's hidden. It's behind my head back here somewhere on the wall. I think it's right there.
Yeah, we see that.
I'll go grab that in a minute. Mine's stamped 1968. What year is yours, Marco?
71.
Ha! Got you beat.
No, there's no way. You don't even come close because mine is select fire.
Okay, well, you got me there. You do have me there. We'll have to get some videos of you shooting that. Definitely. But that, and you guys are, and a lot of people may not know this, and this is probably taboo to talk about on this show, but you guys also are producing ARs there in Radom. Not for the U.S. market, but for...
Yeah, but this is strictly for military contracts. So I would rather not talk about this right now, or to the extent whatever I can say. So yeah, but we do produce AR parts as well. We're aiming right now to produce the complete guns as well. Yeah,
so that's interesting. I thought that was very interesting. And since I've been there, you guys have come a long way. You've expanded the factory over there, and we're going to talk about that a little bit also. But what I think our listeners would very much be interested in, Michael, is if you could maybe give us a little bit history about how you came to acquire, to own the Circle factory and take over production of the AK-47s there in Radom.
We started there in 2001, I believe. I think it was 2001. And, in the very beginning, we're not really in the AK product. We were producing completely different stuff. That was the time we were concentrating on the double barrel shotguns. And it was meant for cowboy action shooting in the United States.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. How did you get into the double barrel shotguns? Because that's like totally out of left field for what our listeners are probably thinking.
It was that time that basically cowboy action shooting in beginning of century was pretty hot sport in the United States, you can say, and there was no other producers. Right now you have massive production coming from Turkey, but that time there was barely none or very little, as I remember. And
Michael's been a little modest here. He's a very gifted engineer, and there was some guys that were doing the cowboy action shooting and stuff that learned about the opportunities and stuff they have, and they presented to him the type of gun that they wanted and the type of double barrel shotgun they wanted, rather. They wanted a nice European one because you were looking at the ones that were made in Belgium, these very expensive high-end shotguns, and they wanted those at a price where they could afford. So Michael designed this gun and started building them in Poland, this high-end shotgun for the guys to go out there, and it became very popular. As a matter of fact, we have probably 20 people a month contact us wanting us still to produce those shotguns. And oddly enough, Pioneer takes care of the warranty on everything that was made Pioneer. We honor that warranty to make sure everything's taken care of. And in the time that I've been working here with Pioneer USA since 2017, we've not had one single shotgun that was produced from Pioneer Arms to come back to us for warranty work or parts or anything else. So he's a very gifted engineer. He answered the call, of what the customers wanted and stuff, and he's a very customer-orientated engineer. So he came up with a shotgun for that purpose, which brought us into the AKs because people were starting wanting the AK. So that's where we've come in there.
But the idea of our company from the beginning was to produce everything in-house. So that's why we end up in Plant 11 Radom starting 2001, because even with the shotgun, all of the parts were made by us in-house and required the space, people, skilled workers. And, my immediate choice was Radom because, I could find the skilled people there, machinery, and then start the production. Of course, how Dillard explained later on, our interest was transferred to the AK products and other products, but the shotgun was the trigger for us, for Pioneer. So
that's what kicked it off, was the shotgun,
exactly,
double barrel shotgun. And being in Poland, is there cowboy action shooting in Poland, or was this strictly an American kind of demand?
I would say strictly in US. Very, in Poland and Europe, it was like a niche market. Yeah.
And I've seen pictures of, I haven't actually seen or shot one of your shotguns. And I understand that you're not making those anymore. Is that correct? You're not making the shotguns?
No, we don't. It was very time consuming. And, right now with this humongous competition from Turkey, we'll not be able to compete. Our shotgun was the greener lac, which it's very complicated to build. But basically, we discontinued the line.
Okay. Well, they're beautiful shotguns.
Thank you.
I would like to get one of those. So if any of you listeners have one of those and you'd like to sell it, talkinglead@gmail.com. You can email me.
Hey, Leadheads, Dwight Settle with Seal One. Just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal One CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called sealskins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's two reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal One CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal One CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings. So I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot. Just normal usage before the Seal 1 CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal 1 CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly, because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal 1 CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal 1 CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal 1 CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal 1 and done. Seal 1 is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
Or maybe trade. Maybe we'll trade for something. But yeah, so the shotgun is what started you guys off back in around 2001, turn of the century. You guys are getting into the Circle 11 factory there. Is that the Fabrica Brony?
Yes, that's Fabrica Brony. The whole complex was built in early 20s of 20th century, I believe.
Yeah.
The building which we have right now, one of the buildings, because we own right now 2 buildings, was built in 1924, and this was our first building we moved in.
Yeah, so that building's got some rich history to it, and
exactly.
I had the privilege of getting a tour of that back in 2018 when you guys sent us up there. It was me, Rob Manning, who all was there? David Fortier.
Yeah.
Jim Tarr.
Yeah. It was a great group of guys there. And we really appreciate you taking us around. You were kind of our tour guide of not only just, when we were there in Radom, but you took us on a tour of the area there and the surrounding country. We went to Czechoslovakia. We went to
we went to Czechoslovakia to visit one of our and only one military customer, the Excalibur company.
Excalibur, and that place was amazing. Just the tanks and everything. We got to drive a tank while we were there, and they did some shooting demonstrations, and and the place that had all the surplus. What was that?
That was this is Excalibur rep in Poland. He was, he's working still with Excalibur. He's just, has like he buys the stuff from Polish military, which gets transferred to Czech for the repair, overhaul, and so on.
Yeah,
so he is in the Excalibur family. Let's put it this way.
All right. They're an extension of the Excalibur guys there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just amazing. And then you took us to the towns and the restaurants, and the food was just nothing less than amazing. I don't think I had anything there that I didn't want to have a second helping of. It was amazing. The tartare was spot on. Absolutely loved it. But it's the whole European area there around Poland. I mean, you guys just have a rich history. We went to that museum I guess it was our last day. And the military museum.
Yeah, that was Museum of Warsaw Uprising.
Let's wait for that siren to go by there. They coming to arrest you, Marco?
They finally got me.
They finally got you.
But they're not going to take me.
What was What was the museum? What was the name of that museum?
The museum, it was Museum of Warsaw Appraisal. That's in 1944, at the end of the war, Polish people started the appraisal in Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital of Poland, and was the capital of Poland that time. And basically, general idea was to liberate Poland from Germans before the Russian front will come. That was, general idea. But after 2 months, the appraisal failed, and there was also stipulation that maybe on the second part of the appraisal that Russians will help, but unfortunately they stopped the front and they let people to bleed, and they enter empty city in 1945.
And your family has a deep military history as well. Talk about your.
They do. I'm sorry, Marco, but you are a historian, so you will understand that. Basically, all of my family was based on the eastern part of Poland, and they were in active members, military members in World War I and World War II. And in World War I, they were fighting against the Russians on the Eastern Front. Of course, World War I included, there was fight with Russians, Germans, Austrians. There was the liberation of Poland from 300 years of occupancy by Russians, Germans, and Austria. In World War II, again, that when the World War II started, most of the members of my family went on the Eastern Front because, German attacked Poland on September 1st, Russians attacked Poland on September 17th. So since they were actually located on the eastern part of Poland, they went to fight with Russians, except one guy who was in cavalry, like most of the military in 1939 was, infantry or soldiers on horses, the cavalry. Yeah?
Cavalry.
Yeah. So this was a very interesting episode because, the German companion stopped, was, I think, like early October. So it took Germans like 6 weeks to occupy whole Poland. But this formation in which my grandfather was fighted till June of 1940. And it was only one only one military unit, uniformed with horses. There was over 50 people on horses, over 200 people infantry, and about 20-30 people of logistic. And they were fighting since, let's say, September 1st till end of June 1940 in forest in Poland. There is a bunch of books about them as well, movies. The name of this formation was named by the leader, Major Dobrzański, whose nickname was Hubal. So anyone who listen right now and has Polish background will know what I'm talking about. So basically, how I said, Poland surrendered in October of 1939. These people survived and fought as a regular army till June of 1940.
Michael, I got a question.
Yes.
So after the invasion of Soviet Union by the Germans, what happened to that unit?
After invasion of
in June of 41.
The unit was active only till June 1940.
The
Oh, I see.
personnel.
So after the June 1940,
And this unit was actually, it was operating in a central Poland, but you know how the things were when structured that time. Basically, there was like Soviet-German agreement to divide Poland on the Vistula River. So there was, pact of Ribbentrop-Molotov. So this unit operated on the
German side.
On the German side, yes.
But did a lot of them survived and managed to join the Army Krajova, or later maybe?
The Armia Krajowa, it was like partisans. So that was, formation in forest, but they were without uniform. Like let's say underground
guerrillas,
fight.
like a guerrilla
underground fight. But the formation I'm talking about, the Hubal, it was regular military forces on horses, infantry, heavy machine guns, and they were a nightmare for Germans. They were, Germans. There was numerous of fights in forest neighbor Warsaw and Kielce and Radom. Actually, they operated in this area, and finally, somehow, I guess, Germans used some. They had someone who, how you say that, someone leaked the information.
They had spies.
Exactly. And they were able to locate the headquarters of this unit, and they took the headquarters and they killed the guy in charge, and basically the formation disappeared. My great grandfather was able uplift this and was able to flee to Africa.
As a couple of segues to go into that real quick.
Sure.
Once that it went in, the Russians came in. A lot of the Polish soldiers and were stuff there that weren't captured by the German. A lot of those went to France, and they fell underneath the bureau, district of the British. So they fell underneath that. And what Michael's talking about is grandfathers. We actually have a limited edition Carpathian rifle for the 3rd Carpathian Brigade. And basically, what this Carpathians wore, they went down and they were in like his grandfather. They wound up going down into Syria, what is present day Syria, Israel, now in the Middle East, and they were stationed down inside of there because that's where the Russians sent them. And then they moved over and joined the British, and they were the 3rd Carpathian Division / regiment. Depends on what part of history you read, but it's still the 3rd Carpathian. And they went and fought in places like Trebuk, where the Queen of England gave them a medal and they were called the Rats of Trebuk because underneath the siege and everything else, they couldn't get the Poles out. And then that same unit was instrumental for the Mount Montesino in Italy, where we fought forever to try to take the monastery that the Germans held. The Poles were finally the unit to be able to go to Mount Montesino and actually liberate it. It was kind of a hollow victory because the Germans lost about 20,000, and we lost killed or captured or wounded about 65,000 soldiers to be able to do it. And the 3rd Carpathian was the last unit to go up to finally take it, and they took some very, very serious losses with that. We have a rifle, a limited edition 200 run series with a certificate just of that particular gun.
That's awesome. And are those still available?
Yeah, there's some still available out there. You can find them at either Atlantic or Classic Firearms as far as those guns do in particular. We don't really do our limited editions to do that one. There's a certificate that talks about the history of the 3rd Carpathian. The gun is actually engraved with the Carpathian logo on it. And then there's a certificate that's signed with the limited number, the serial number on it, and the limited number of the gun it is. And it all has an embossum or a raised seal and the signature stamp of Pioneer Arms as a collector gun that we do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's the same price as our other guns. So
you missed an opportunity there. You could have jacked that up a little bit.
we don't believe in jacking up the price. We believe in letting the customers get a good quality gun for a very fair price.
Yeah, and you guys are very, very well priced on your firearms, and we're going to talk about that. But back to the family history there, and you're talking about your great grandfather there. Those pictures that I was just showing, was that some of your family?
That was actually this unit I was talking about. This one which operates till June of 1940, called Hubal. That's why I placed 1930, 1940 last Polish cavalry, because there was a regular military formation. So that's my family members.
I was going to pull it back up there. So you have these in your office. When we did the tour, you had these hanging up.
Yeah,
they were very interesting pictures there. So let me go back to that one that had the two fellas there. Is that some family members there?
Two fellows. It's the young fellow. It's the guy who was in this Hubal formation, and the older guy, it's my great grandfather, who was the colonel, and he ended up in the Middle East in 1939.
Oh wow! Let me get back to my screen there. Was that coming up? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
A bunch of pictures. You should have clicked on one. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I'm learning here.
My great grandfather, actually, he was a colonel, and he actually retired in 1939. But when with war starting in September of he retired in 38, and when war started on September 1st, 1939, he was called back to his former unit, and he led the people on the eastern part. He was captured by Russians. He was placed in one of these camps around Katyn. But then, when Polish forces under the British forces were able to strike the deal with Stalin, whoever remained and was not killed in Katyn was able to leave Russia to Middle East, and that's one. My great grandfather was one of them.
But didn't they go to Siberia first to be equipped and formed into some kind of units, and then from there went to Middle East?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So he spent some time in Russia then.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So you got a rich military family history there, background, and I'm sure growing up, did they talk about it much? Did you get to talk with your grandfather? Did your father?
Actually, only one person to whom I was able to talk was my grandmother. She was the daughter of this guy who was the colonel, because the rest of the people either were killed in World War II or they never come back to Poland. Yeah. They were afraid to come back after Russians took over in 1945. Yeah. So I was able to talk to my grandfather on the phone when he was residing in London. He never wanted to come back. And with his wife, my grandmother, who actually introduced me to all of the history, and I was able to learn about the Katyn when I was a small kid in 1970s, when in Poland no one knows what the Katyn state stands for. It was, basically place where Polish officers were
executed
by Soviets. Yeah,
I found that with my grandfather too. My grandfather served in World War II and couldn't really ever get him to talk about it. He'd never talk about it. You'd bring it up, he'd change the subject. And of course, my grandmother, he never talked about it with her, so she didn't really know anything about it either. So it's just something that I wish when he was alive that I would have maybe pressed a little bit harder for him to talk about it and give his experience.
There's a reason he didn't talk about it, Marty.
Sure. No, I get it. I understand. Yeah. But it's history, and it's those things that you look back on, and only those people, and they take it to their grave, unless you can get them to talk about it or write about it. But there's a lot of, there's a lot of good history out there, but to personally, have family members that were part of it is just something I wish I would have been able to talk about.
Yeah, the problem is that the World War II shaped the world, so it had an amazing impact on how things are and things. And unfortunately, those who took part and participated in it in whichever way are going away. I mean, there's very few left who are still alive or who can recall this stuff. So I've been saying it for years that somebody knows a veteran, go see him, get his stories, because it needs to be remembered what the world had to deal with at the time.
Yeah, what actually happened, the real story, instead of some of the stuff that you're seeing in history books. That
when we get into an episode and we talk about my book, I've got some explanations to go on that and stuff. I never wanted a book. I never wanted to be part of that book. Everything in that book that started out with come out of the history of the ground war in Iraq. And there was 2 or 3 pages in there that got filtered out about me. And then someone took that, put it together, and it was getting ready to be produced as a book. And they asked me, because all of the information in there as far as the kills and the scenarios and stuff, if I wanted to do any input in it, because it was going to get published, because it was public information and I didn't own it. So the stuff in my book, I went in and tried to give tribute to the people. So it wasn't about me for that, but I never wanted the book and never made a nickel off the book, and still haven't made a nickel off the book. And it's just, I understand whenever people talk about that, that we need to be preserved in history for this other stuff. But there's just a lot of times when I say a long day or that's part of my life that's not here anymore, there's a lot of stuff that happens in your life that you need to close the door and walk away from for your sanity. And Marco understands.
Yeah.
We call it the cartoons. So, the ability, how you manage your cartoons in your head every day is what separates you from being insane or sane person.
Yep.
So.
But there's a reason. There's a reason that some people aren't able to talk about it. Like I knew Woody from Hacksaw Ridge. I have a friend that I served with that later become a captain, that we were scouts when we first come in with. And I had met Woody, and to this day, or till the day he died, he never really talked about it. And his story that came out, he didn't tell his story. It was told by other people because he didn't want people to think of him that way.
Yeah, but then you get into problems with people telling your story, trying to tell your story, and not getting it right. So
that's why I added in the book of what I saw through my eyes and what happened when I was there. So it wasn't just a bunch of blatant statements that people went out there. That's the only reason that I'm listed on part of the book. Is for everything else is because we had 18-year-old kids over there moving ammo and unarmored vehicles getting shot at, bringing ammo to me when I was fighting tanks. And they were much, much more a hero than what I did. And I wanted to make sure that they got tribute for what they did.
Yeah, sometimes you have to tell somebody else's story just to give them a little traction for what they're doing. Because, the war is not just the 2 guys opposing each other with guns. There's whole kinds of stuff going on, like those, the logistics and the ammo resupplies and things like that. MREs, or even we had people flying sorties on the helicopters just to drop crates of AKs to us, in the prolonged engagements.
And the Afghans still have those AKs, and they're still using them.
They're using our ARs and our Hummers.
They've upgraded, but
they probably, CJ, they're probably a little better equipped nowadays.
Yeah, they're a lot better.
Yeah. So back to Michael. And did your father also serve?
No. My father was too young to serve. He was like a kid during the World War II. So no, he wasn't. And later on, he did not join the military. He was the commercial pilot. So
Okay.
basically, military history kind of stopped on the World War II area.
So when you guys moved into this factory, what kind of condition did you get it in? And did you have to do any refurbish?
Well,
miserable condition.
Right, which is great. If I may interrupt, why don't we talk about what was that factory all about before or during the heyday of a Warsaw Pact or whatever? I mean, was it
No, you're reading my mind. That's perfect. Yeah,
right?
that's
And then
this was one of the biggest AK and firearms producers in the Cold War area. There was, I believe, in the peak times, there was like 15 up to 20,000 people working there.
Oh, wow.
That's 1970s, late 60s, 1970s. The production capacity was unbelievable. They could produce up to 100,000 AKs a month. The plant was humongous, was huge. Everything was produced inside the plant. They didn't have any outside vendors because there was like no one could know what was going over there. So it was really big enterprise.
Michael, quick question: when did they start producing AKs? In 1950 something or?
Good question. I think it was mid-50s.
My thing says 1956.
Yeah, I think so too. But there was, in the beginning was the milled receiver. Then they went to the stamped receiver in 70s, I believe, and the 60s, beginning
60s
of 70s.
Probably because Russians start making them in 1959.
Yeah. I bought because the plant was closing down in year 2000. I bought from the court-appointed judge who was selling out the assets of the Plant 11. I bought original drawings, and I have original Russian drawings and original Polish drawings, which were based on the Russian drawings. So I could probably look at the dates
stamps on the drawings.
Exactly.
So what I was guiding at, and I'm sorry for interruption, but we'll return to it. Just remember this as we progress in our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, about the Pioneer Arms. Okay, then Marty.
Okay.
1956 original drawings.
56, 57, yeah.
What Michael said.
And what was going on about around that time?
There's a couple of unique stuff that just because Russia was as big as it was, and all of these, and I'm going to call them enclaves, satellite states, whatever you want to call them, in order to keep the masses, because of the socialist regime that was set in Russia, they had to spread the wealth around. That's like in Ukraine, believe it or not, Ukraine manufactured all the tanks and all the tank motors, and the motors for their ships. Ukraine built all of that stuff for the Russians. And so large stockyards of tanks and stuff are still in Ukraine after they were granted their independence, because they were doing the stuff for the Russians. So the Russians spread stuff around. Like Belarus was one of the largest supply depots that they had. So when a lot of people were talking about, surplus stuff and everything else, it's because Belarus was a satellite state that would do the distribution of that. And then you had Poland, which had two factories in it that built AKs. You had factory number 11, and then you had the second factory, which was designated with the circle around it for the Circle 11. And those were both, one was a sewing machine factory and the other one was a typewriter factory prior to World War II. And then once the Germans had taken over that area, the Germans actually started converting those into weapons factories.
Funny how
So-
in the U.S. during World War II, Corona Smith or Smith Corona, whatever, typewriter factory made the M1 carbines.
The tanks that were being made in World War II were made in Kentucky at the Chevrolet plant that they have there, and the Bradleys and stuff that we have that were built that we used in Iraq and so on. They were made by FMC, which is the food corporation. So machine ARs in Vietnam were made by Mattel, the toy company. So it's whichever major manufacturing company had the ability to produce the weapons and stuff to do that. And U.S. used our government or powers to have the U.S. factories to start building military guns, whereas the Russians were smarter and they had already designated factories in their satellite countries to go ahead and start manufacturing all of their guns. For instance, Ishmash, Tula, which a lot of people knows Tula is the ammunition company, but Tula was, before they did ammo, they did rifles.
There's two Tula factories. There's a cartridge factory and there's TOS, which is the weapons factory. But Tula is one of the first ones to manufacture muskets and stuff back then.
Introducing our new belly band holster. Whether you're hitting the gym or running a quick errand, our belly band is one of the most comfortable and safest ways to carry your firearm. The center section allows you to carry most common pistols. Left or right-handed, this has you covered. A hard laminate trigger shield protects the firearm's trigger from unwanted intrusion, giving you ease of mind while carrying every day. 2 elastic sleeves give you the flexibility to carry other everyday items, such as spare mags, flashlight, knife, or pepper spray. 2 zippered pockets run on both sides, offering the option to carry smaller items, such as money, cards, or keys. Flush fit on your lower back or waist, easily keeping your setup discreet no matter how you choose to carry. Utilizing 3D spacer mesh, these channels allow for exceptional and efficient airflow, giving you maximum comfort and keeping you cool. Carry whenever you want, how you want, with our new belly band holster. Available now.
Go to missionfirsttactical.com. Use the code LEADHEAD for an exclusive listener-only 20% discount.
But back to Radom. Oh gosh, it flew right out of my hand. But anyway, so it is considered, and I'm like rotating in the circles of collectors and whatnot, and doing the research. The AKMs that were produced in Poland, right at the Factory 11, were probably closest copy to original AK that was produced by Ishmash.
Yeah. When we do the design work and we look at and compare both blueprints, Russian and Polish, they are identical. The Polish version of the Russian blueprints was basically the translation of the like comments for blackening, hardening, but dimension wise, everything is the same. So you can build Russian AK based on the Polish blueprints and based on the Russian, and they will be the same.
So that's another point that we need to put a pin in for our a further discussion today, Marty.
So that's not like VZ61 or Zastava, who were modernized and different.
Right.
So the Polish AK was hardcore Russian AK.
And even Romanians took some creative liberties.
Romanian were a little bit different. I don't know about Arsenal Bulgarians, but I think
Michael, they never build the AKMs. They build the AK-74s in Arsenal.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And I catch a lot of flack when I talk about these guns because I consider ours, because we do have the Russian license that we got, the blueprints to build our guns. I say that our gun is an AK where everybody else is a variant. And that is a true statement because all of these other companies made their AKs. It's a variant type. Whereas you pull the boat out of a Kalashnikov and the boat out of our gun, and it's the exact same dimensions.
Yeah.
And
You can swap them.
we've also caught some flack because we didn't want to go with the side rails to modernize the gun, because we wanted to keep that original AK look with the rifle. But we've had to change some of that to modernize, because we are a reactive company to the customers. But we make
just to give you, I'm sorry, I apologize, but on the rail, just to give you an idea and kind of traction behind what you did, was the Soviets in the late, not like mid 60s, producing AKMs with the side rails.
Yeah, yeah, because they had the system NSP1, NSP2, NSP3, night vision, and the rail was meant for that. So basically, the rail which we are putting right now on our AK, it's taken from the Russian blueprint. So it was the same rail used for NSP1 and NSP2.
All right, sorry. Let's go back. I kind of took the discussion the wrong.
No, that's great. You know how this show works. We chase squirrels. We go down whatever rabbit hole we go down.
The tumultuous 90s and all that stuff, and it kind of saw the disintegration of the Soviet system and Warsaw Pact, and then Poland joining the European Union family, and then the NATO as a subsequent. So, what happened to the factory?
The factory was, filed bankruptcy, I believe, in 1999 or 1998. That's why there was, this court-appointed judge liquidating the assets of the company. And how we were able to get some machines, get the blueprints, get the buildings. The
most important thing that we got from that factory, regardless of the blueprints, the machinery, and everything else, was we got a lot of employees that had the skill set to build these guns the way that they had been built. That's the most important thing that we got there, was because you can't buy that experience.
You cannot buy the knowledge. Exactly. That's years of the expertise and the knowledge, which anyone who will try to build AK from the scratch will have to learn years. So
along with the factory, you were able to get the workers to return and come back and bring that experience.
Exactly.
That was huge.
Exactly. So basically, we are only one company who is in this former military complex in Radom who produce the guns, because the new established Fabryka Broni, which does not produce AKs, they have the barrel, which is the 5.56 version of the AK, modernized AK, and they do the MSBS right now. They moved out from Radom, on the outskirts of Radom. So we were only one who left in the former military complex.
So this picture that I've got up now is that the factory there? Is that?
That's old factory, and the Archer you have on the left side, that's very initial and first logo of Radom Archer. And we were lucky enough also to buy from the court this Archer mark, which is engraved on our guns right now.
Is the Archer still around? The big
yes, it's still around. Belongs to city right now. So
was it relocated?
It's located across from our plant, but it's already on the property of the city of Radom. So
okay, I don't remember seeing that big statue, because I would have got a selfie. I would have got a selfie. Well, all the more reason for me to come back, right?
Yeah.
So keep talking. I'm trying to get out of this. Here we go. Stop sharing screen. Like I said, I'm new to that.
The whole thing with the Archer, I've done tons and tons of research on that, and there's not a lot really that you could find on it, other than I've went back and found a little bit of documentation and stuff, especially when the bastard king of Poland went to free Vienna in Austria when they were being invaded by the Muslims. And it seemed like at that time period, if a king needed 150 troops, he would get them from a company. And that's where we got infantry companies and stuff with that. And Radom was known for archers and for the people that they're skilled archers that they had there. And there was a few references that they were known for that throughout Europe. And whenever a country wanted archers to be able to fight for their kingdom, they would hire this company of archers that were trained in Radom. Supposedly the best in the world. I don't know if they had the longbows. That particular statue looked like he had the longbow, which made a difference in the world. But from the research that I've been doing for about the past 6 years, there's not a lot. There's a ton of reference to the bastard king and the defeating of the last invasion of Europe. But as far as that actual statue itself, who's that young guy right there? Was that guy? Guy looks like he's out there pimping. Look at that.
No, but I think you're absolutely right on the history of the archers. Poland archers were known for their skills, and I don't know if they were great hunters or something with the archery. What made them so good?
They were sought after. They were sought after all over Europe for their. I mean, they were the companies of archer were very highly paid. I mean, there's references to them fighting for King Richard the Lionheart when he went down to the Middle East. There's references where he talks about, Radom and his archers and stuff that he had with him.
Yeah. So the pictures I've got up now from when I was there, parts of the factory.
Yeah, that is the building we're using. The building you just showed before that is not the building we're using.
It's gone already.
That one was abandoned, obviously. I mean, it was
abandoned.
It's part of the old factory
complex. Yeah.
Part of the complex, and then that was the front entrance there, I guess, when we were coming out.
That's our foundry.
And then the day we were there was a air show. You see the planes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was some sort of air show going on there.
Yeah, Michael had that arranged for you guys.
They did a flyover for us, just for us.
For you guys.
Yeah, they don't usually do it for anybody.
And then this piece of history.
Could you hold it with it? This water tower? It's next to our building, and one of my employees, the older guy who was actually doing the wooden stacks for us, he was teaching the people how the process and so on. He was telling me, Michael, in 1945 there was 2 Germans in the machine gun in this tower, and we were taking them down.
Oh wow! Is that tower still there?
Tower has some history.
Is it still there?
Still there. Yeah.
It's still there. Yeah.
Next to our plant. Yeah.
There's some more of the planes flying by. It was like they were all bugging out. It was the end of the air show.
There was. Yeah.
Look at there.
Who is this young guy?
Looking guys.
Both young guys.
So that's us in front of the sign. Me and Michael. Of course, we're looking a little younger. And what was I don't remember the history behind this.
This is the first semi-auto PPS. We converted and we shot in the shooting range, and this was the target from the first PPS semi-auto built in our factory.
Oh, that's like Marco during the qualification.
That's your qual shot, Marco.
That's at 500 yards.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So these are just some pictures that I shot while we were going around the factory there. So when you guys came in, the factory, you were able to get the workers, and was there much things that you had to upgrade or change? Was everything pretty much in great working order?
We in the first years we based on the old machines and on the experience of people, but since we need to increase the production capacity, we slowly started to convert to the CNC. machines, and the first step was to you can machine metal on a regular lathe or manual mill, or you can do it on CNC machine. So we transferred the old process to the new fabrication process. That time you were in the plant, we already switched to all of the CNC machines.
Yeah, very modern. Yeah,
because instead 15,000 people, we had that time 150. So CNC helps, of course. Right now we're at the stage of you haven't seen that, and you are welcome to come over and visit us again. You will see even the big difference right now. We're putting robotic lines with the CNC machines, so you will see robots working with most of the. This is old school. This is what you see right now.
Yeah, TV. This was very.
That's gone. No more.
Oh, you don't have that anymore?
No. The green machines. We have still some presses. This is the press. In the beginning I thought that this is the mill. This is the press. We still use the presses. Yes, we stamp. Yeah. We stamp on these machines.
Stamp receivers. Yeah, I thought this was very interesting that that they were doing it.
Because we fabricate all of the parts inside. So we have the stamping process, casting process, machining process, and that's all of the processes which requires to build the AK.
Yeah. So the finished product. So for our listening audience, the ones that aren't watching the video, we're just showing how they were doing the stamped receivers there, which was very interesting.
And one of the things, I don't know if you caught that or not, is we make absolutely every single part. We have a machine that makes our springs. So we don't have an outside vendor, so we don't have to worry about the quality of material that we get. We control absolutely everything we do. We make absolutely everything out of raw material. So we're not buying anything from any other company that may have, questionable manufacturing stuff, and
you've got complete control over every part
everything, to go up there in it. So if there's something, if there's a problem that's there, it can be stopped before it ever gets put in a gun and it ever gets shipped to the United States or sent off to one of our military partners.
Yeah. So what am I looking at here? So for our listening audience, I've got a diagram of an AK up here.
That's the blueprints. That's the assembly line, and those are the blueprints of assembled firearms. So people, if they need the reference, they can go to the blueprint and check the, dimensions or so. So they're for reference.
Yeah, I thought those were very cool. I'd like to hang
blueprints hanging on the wall in the assembly line.
Very cool. So, and here's a picture of
assembly line. Yeah,
some finished AKs. Yeah. So it's just and remarkably, how clean and meticulous, everything was too. I really wasn't expecting. I've been to some American manufacturers and they weren't anywhere near sterile as your factory was. And then when we got into I don't know if I've got that video up here or not. You guys do your magazines too. You make your magazines.
Yeah, we do magazines as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big crate of the underfolders. Now, are these people still working for you? You still have?
Yeah, they do. Actually, this lady right now leads one of the stock rooms, so she's still with us. We have people who works for us years and years. Of course, in the initial years, in going back to 2001, most of those people already retired. I have only one guy who is still with the background of the old Plant 11, but we were able to train the new people based on these old employees, so they transfer the knowledge, skills.
Yeah, and like an apprenticeship.
Excuse me.
I said they're kind of like an apprenticeship. You put the younger workers with the more experienced workers, and
yeah, exactly.
This was a fun video to do here with all the ammo there. There's one of our meals. I think that was where I got my first tartar, was during this meal.
Okay.
There it is.
That's it.
Right? I mean, that was so good. That was so good. There's Dave.
Yeah.
There's Rob. And what was this fella's name? CJ?
The young kid, I forgot his name.
Can't remember.
I don't know. I can't see his face.
He must not be around anymore. But anyway, so stop sharing. So the factory, I wanted to show some pictures of the factory there, and we're talking about the manufacturing process that you guys kind of started off with, and I know there's something that we want to talk about. We want to really concentrate on, and you guys were casting parts too, and I had a video of you guys doing that there. I was trying to find that, but talk about your move away from the cast trunnion.
Basically, casting it's integrated process of the AK. If people, I don't know if people have the knowledge, but basically there is like 16 parts which are cast in the AK: trigger group, stack tank, gas block, rear set base. Those were cast, and this is the Russian technology. This is not something what we invented. This is, we took over blueprints, and we basically built equipment to cast these parts, and we built our own casting house where we produce these parts for the AK. Since trunnion was really hard part to machine in the beginning for us, we also started to cast this part, and we were able to, before we introduced the cast trunnion to the market, we did numerous trials. First of all, we have to distinguish casting house from, every casting house is different. In our casting house, we control everything from the scratch. So that means we make our own steel alloy. So we were able to get the steel alloy, which was used for was used by Russian to produce the trunnion from the forging.
Yeah.
So basically, we use the same material, and we did numerous trials to test the casted trunnions, and we know that the strength required to destroy the casting trunnion exceeds 25% of the maximum strength of the overpressure bullet. So we know that we are good, and we never had any failure with the casted trunnion, and we still give what lifetime warranty to all of the guns on the market which had casted trunnion. But since there was so many questions asked around why cast, and is my gun cast or forged, we decided to move to the forged trunnion, especially since we do produce 5.56 by 45 caliber, which is a lot stronger load. We need to introduce the forged trunnion, and we gained the experience of machining the trunnion, and then last year our all military production was based on the 5.56 was based on the forged trunnion, and since there was so much misunderstanding what cast was what, if the casting is good or bad, do I have cast or do I have forged, I said let's switch to the forged all aboard, and starting 2023.
2023. We had some in 2022 that were starting out that we were working on, but we switched over completely in 2023. The casting process, to explain that in layman terms, is basically the cast that you get is off the quality of the material that you do in it.
And the process.
Because anybody can take a casting. That's the same thing for forging. People that do forgings and stuff, it depends on the type of material and stuff that you start off with. That's why we control the process that we do it, to go through it. We heat everything up the same, 5,000 degrees before our molds and our pours, to make sure we get rid of bubbles and stuff. And then one thing Michael left out is we X-ray every single piece that comes out of there.
100% parts.
And I'm sure you've seen the machine while you were there, Marty, and I've seen the machine. Yeah. So we X-ray every single part, not just the trunnions, to make sure anything that is cast, we X-ray that. But because the clients, the clients scream that forging's better, and we are a reactive company, and we look out for what our customers are looking for. We switched over to completely forged to get rid of some of the misnomers and stuff with it. Nothing wrong with the castings. We still stand behind that product and everything else. It's just the forgings is what we needed to switch over to.
Just to let you know, in 7.62 by 39 caliber, we have thousands of guns with the cast trunnion in the military use. No single recall.
There's a lot of companies that have, whether they're gun shops or they're a big machine gun place out west or something like that, have bought our cast guns and have modified them into full auto. And they did that checking with us to find out that if we would cover the warranty on those guns, if they were using them on the ranges. And we said absolutely, because it's an easy test for us to find out how well that the guns are doing. So there are many a machine gun on ranges right now that are cast, that are ours, that have thousands of rounds through them. You, I believe yourself, one of the last events that we had down here, we had Pioneer machine guns out there on it. I have one cast gun with 75,000 rounds on it, another one with an unknown over 60,000 rounds, and we've replaced an extractor or a recoil springs, but they're still just pumping rounds downrange.
Yeah.
The gun which Misha tested or actually tortured.
Yeah.
Also has the cast trunnion.
Yeah, we've there's a Mishan, which is the blind Russian with Fox that does a lot of videos and stuff, and he has one of our cast guns in his video that he abused for 9 months, and basically said it couldn't be broken. But we switched over to Ford. Just to ease everybody's mind and to make it easier on what product they were actually buying.
Yeah, let's make everything uniform.
Uniform, exactly.
This is cast. The one I have right here is cast, and I've not had any issues with it. And I took it out yesterday. I was shooting it suppressed.
Marco, I believe Marco has some that he runs in his classes that are cast.
This is it right here. Thousands of rounds.
So that's one right there, Marco. Okay. Yeah. So, and for those who don't know, Marco also does training. He trains people, and we're still working on that Marco experience. We're putting the final touches on that for you lead heads. I know we mentioned that a couple episodes back, and the finale last year, the AK versus the AR. What an epic episode that was, Marco. Did you lose your earpiece?
As soon as I was required to say something, my earpiece flew out.
Leave it to Marco. Your timing is impeccable. So anybody had any questions about the casting versus the forging? That should clear up any issues you have. And if you still have questions or comments about that, you can email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I'll forward it on to the guys, but you can get in touch with them directly. They've got a website. You go to pioneeraramsusa.com, I believe it is.
No, us.com.
Just US,
pioneeraramsus.com, and we carry almost everything for an AK on the website, but barrels and receivers. So if you need an AK part, we carry that. We carry all kinds of furniture, plus we have a bunch of adapters and some other unique parts that we've just made ourselves there for the website. And then we have, we have some guns that that may have got wet when they come over here and have a little blim on the finish or something like that. And we have some actual guns on there, that are blim guns that people can check on.
Attention business owners, are you ready to take your marketing game to the next level? Look no further than Black Tie Digital Marketing, the firearm-friendly, full-service agency that delivers results. We've worked with industry giants like Kel-Tec, Spikes Tactical, and Armalite, and we even designed the kick-ass new logo at Talking Lead. At Black Tie, we blend creativity and data-driven strategies to ensure your message hits the mark every time. From high-end custom websites, graphic design, to inbound marketing campaigns, and everything in between, we've got you covered. Your success is our priority. Join the ranks of the industry's top players and give your business the boost it deserves. Experience the power of Black Tie today. Visit blacktieDigital.com or call 1-800-316-8030 to schedule your free consultation. That's Black Tie Digital Marketing, where firepower meets marketing power. Black Tie Digital Marketing is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah, go ahead, Marco.
the beauty of a basic Pioneer Arms AK, and we talked earlier today about how closely it's built to original spec, and it's been built at that place for a long time, right? For over 50 years. And the expertise, the people who lived in Radom and worked at the factories, they brought in that expertise back in. So basic product that you're going to get out of Pioneer Arms is a solid AKM platform. Then you can, at your own leisure and time, turn it into, add any kind of accessories that's available on the, open market, such as Midwest Industries Alpha line, which is this handguard right here is, and so on and so on. You can modify it any way you want, any way you feel it fit, so to speak, to fit your
Modularity.
Yeah,
Marco,
just add
modularity.
that available modularity, which is available on the regular commercial market, and it fits on any kind of, even if it's blemished per se, right? So you save a little bit of money on the finish, but the fit
By
and
all means.
functionality of a standard Pioneer Arms AK is
All guns that we sell on there that were blims have been repaired. We just won't sell a gun that had an issue that we had to do a repair on, whether it's a re-blacking a spot or cover some, and coming up some shiny stuff. We just won't sell that gun out as a new gun out. We sell it as a blemish and we do a repair on it. So you may not even be able to tell that there was ever a mark on it, but I know there's a mark on it. You and Marty both know me and how I am at this industry and how I'm a perfectionist I want stuff to go out with my name on it. And I want these guns that my name is backing up on it for Pioneer Arms. I want everybody to be assured that it's something I approved before it ever got sent out.
Yeah, and if you really want to get a great deal, blim's the way to go.
I mean, the first trip you take to a range, you're brand new out of box anything. AR, may it be a $3,000 AR or $500 whatever, will be blemished. You know what I'm saying? So basic functionality, that's where you go in and you praise the basic functionality out of the box. The gun functions, you pull a trigger, it goes bang, it cycles well, it performs well, and so on and so on. And for that, I can vouch for Pioneer.
I don't know about you, but when I see somebody that's got a pristine gun at the range, I think, princess.
Yeah, I mean,
when I got a new pair of shoes, I would take them out and I would scuff them up and rub dirt on them before I would wear them out, because
it's like those jeans back in the 60s or whatever. People will wash them and rub them with some kind of things on them to make them look worn.
Yeah, they didn't want them to look brand new. Yeah.
Right, but anyway, but as far as the quality, overall fitment and functionality of a gun is impeccable. I mean, not a single, numerous classes, numerous rapid fire exercises, and so on and so on. not as much as even misfeed. And the funny thing is, out of the, usually the misfeeds and stovepipes and failure to extract or failure to feed, rather double feeds, it all boils down to the quality of a magazine. And the magazines that come with these guns, good to go. I guess that's the.
And for you, if you guys that remember TAPCO and the TAPCO magazines and stuff with that, our magazines are 922R compliant. They are made here in the U.S. They're made with our mode, but they're being the injection molding facility. Of course, it's a huge place that does it for us. But the same individual that's doing our injection molding made the TAPCO magazines. So we are, and we go through quality control and we go testing with every batch that we've had. And we're really happy with what they're doing here. And once again, that's a compliant part. So our magazines are U.S. made.
Are they ever going to do away with the 922R compliance BS?
Well, they're not. The 922R has nothing to do as far as really firearms manufacturing. The 922R is a commerce regulation that the ATF enforces because foreign companies were able to build guns cheaper than U.S. companies. So the U.S. Department of Commerce, after multiple complaints, decided that they would start this 922R regulation so that it would require foreign companies to be able to have X number of parts inside of their firearms so that the U.S. companies would be able to compete. So to answer your question, no, they will probably increase more.
And at this point, since it's created its own cottage industry of employing thousands of people, it would be, if not tens of thousands of people, it would be silly to do away with it.
Yeah,
I disagree. Whatever.
And true to form, you can't get a direct answer from the ATF on anything in writing on that. So
you can't get a direct anything from them and anything in writing.
Yes.
That's the ATF.
So true to form, nothing in writing. Do what we told you. We thought we said.
Should be the NIW is what they should change their name to.
Yeah.
Nothing in writing.
Well put there, CJ. Well put.
So anything else since last time I was there, 2018, that you've changed with the production of the AK? You've got doing the forge, first in the cast, trunnions now. Anything else?
We've upgraded on. I mean, we have our enhanced safeties that we have and we have a ton of accessories. I think the guns that all of you guys have the enhanced safety to go up on it. We sell those on the website too. But we have a lot of new models that we've made since you've been there. We have a lot of changes that we've done to the guns to be able to do it. So yeah, it's got the little lever to go up on it. I mean, we've got some other really cool stuff that we're working on, accessories. We will have our new website produced before long, and you'll be able to go to it. It'll be much more customer friendly, and you'll be able to go there and basically buy the parts to get you a 99% AK minus the receiver on that website. So we're working toward that. What you're holding there is one of our new Grom guns. And basically what we did is we took our hell pups and we made our hell pups either into underfolders or into actual stocks. And we did that by replacing the rear trunnion that was a solid rear trunnion and replaced it with an actual stock tank on it. And then we took our barrel and we put a faux presser on the end of it and pinned and welded it so we would be the actual length that we have. We're the only company doing this right now. Other companies are trying to kick around that ideal, but their guns are thousands of dollars more than our gun. That's actually got the Grom logo on it. It comes with a Grom patch that glows in the dark for you guys that like to do that. And basically that gun is dedicated to the Polish Special Forces, which is the Grom. And we have an exact replica of their patch with a couple of small changes so we don't get copyrighted on it. But it glows in the dark, and the only way you can get that patch is to buy that Grom. And those Groms are exclusively at Classic Firearms and Atlantic Firearms. And that should tell you something there. If Atlantic Firearms is carrying our rifles, then they're good rifles, because Blaine and Atlantic Firearms only carry the best in the business, and he carries our firearms. We also have some 22s and stuff we came out. The 22 is the actual size of an AK. The barrel diameter inside has changed. The bolt on it is changed, and of course the magazine and the recoil system, because it's a blowback. It's not a recoil system on it, and then
and bolt carrier
and the bolt carrier, right? That system there, and the trigger spring on it's a little bit different because it's lighter.
Yeah.
But dust covers to furniture to muzzle brake to safety to the actual triggers is 1-to-1 RAK, which is 1-to-1 a Kalashnikov, so you can swap it out with anything. You can't tell the difference. Could you tell the difference when you open the box, Marty, if that was a real AK or a 22?
No, not at all. No.
The only polymer that you'll get on that 22 is if you order the polymer version, you'll get a polymer gun, but that is the only difference and the only polymer on the gun. If you order the wood AK-22, which by the way, the price is very similar to the polymer one, if you order it, it looks just like an AK and there's no polymer on the gun, period. The handguards, the grip, the stock, it's all made out of wood, the same pressed laminate wood that was used on the original AKs. We don't put Bakelite on it because the process of making Bakelite, nobody does it because of how expensive it was and how bad for the environment. But it is a 1-to-1 trainer gun. So if you're on a budget to go out and you want to shoot your AK a lot, other than having a 30-round magazine, you have your 25-round magazine, and you can go out and rip out for a quarter of the price of shooting the other ones and, get the same feel. You just don't have the recoil off of it. One of the other things that we've done also is, in particular at Atlantic Firearms, if you live in one of these states that are not friendly to firearms, you can get this 22 rifle in that configuration where the muzzle brake on it is tap welded, and that the magazine only holds 10 rounds, because we have those, and that's an Atlantic Firearms item that you can get there with that. So, we're reactive to the customer. We listen to what the customer wants, and we get the products out there with it. This is a firearm to save you money, to save training, and it's good for the family. The whole family can go out and enjoy it. It's good for your initial shooters that want to get into AK, or your wife, or go out and do your family shooting and stuff with it, or for you wives that have your skinny jeans, ponytail latte drinking husbands. It's a good gun for you to buy for them to shoot and not be get hurt on the range. So it's a very good rifle for the range, for the family. We also have a Picatinny rail that we put on top, replacing the rear sight. Now there's a lot of options that do the dust cover and stuff that people have tried. This is actual a military rail, Picatinny rail that we put on our military rifles with our military partners for them to be able to hold their zero and stuff. And, for everybody who talks about AKs, there's AKs and that. Well, we also make 5.56 AKs, and according to Firearms News, it's one of the most accurate 5.56 barrels on the market, and that's on anything, and it's set up on an AK. The 22s is super accurate, and this rail fits right on top of all those models, and it comes with a nice little pistol grip that when you take off your rear sight, the pistol grip has a storage block that you put your rear sight in, and if you're getting the rail system with the collapsible rear stock that we have here, if you're getting that, this has a nice tube in the back of it that you can put your rail in when you go back to your rear sight. So, we're thinking about the customer, and one of the big things that we're talking about, and I'm trying to get this camera, trying to get this stuff figured out for the camera. But we are reactive to the customer, and we're trying to get accessories and stuff out to the customer. If you'll notice, it's for an actual stock tank, and it's a very thick tube that's on here. This isn't your regular tube. This is a very thick tube that's on here. It's not like the ARs that you would try to butt stroke something with in Iraq and the stock would break off. But this is a solid military grade tube for it. And like I said, it has the storage compartment to be able to put the top rail in when it's not in use, and the stock goes over it, holds it in place. So
is it polymer or aluminum?
No, it's aluminum.
Aluminum.
Wow. Okay.
Did you hear that?
Impressive.
Yeah, in there. It was aluminum.
Yeah, it's aluminum. It's thick. It also has the ambidextrous sling adapter on the back of it. And like I said, and this part here is solid. So it's not that thin part that just bolts onto the back of the gun. This actually bolts into the stock tank. So it actually goes inside of the stock tank. It goes in place. It bolts on. It's solid. You can give let's say a trash can that's in your way. You can give it a good butt stroke, and it'll roll that trash can out of the way, and you won't harm your.
Is that a 922R part?
It is not a 922R part.
Okay.
The parts that we use for compliance and stuff is the trigger group, the muzzle brake, and the magazine. So that allows us to be able to have our complete wooden furniture set from Poland. It allows us to have our rail set that we have up with our collapsible stock and everything for the customer to be able to have a great value of a gun that he has. And our magazines are very, very inexpensive. And to hit up on that, we get questions a lot of times of people be like, "Oh, I have this magazine that was made by a third company in Korea, and it doesn't want to fit my rifle. What can we do about that?" And the answer is that this magazine that we make, the diameters of and everything on it, and our test block is the exact same diameter off of the license for the Kalashnikov. So we make sure it fits our magazines. Then we have a couple of popular magazines that we do a little extra milling on to make sure that they fit correctly. We do that to a Yugoslavian steel magazine, and a PMag is what we do that to. We don't open our magazine well up to TAPCO. We don't open our magazine well up to South Korea. And the reason why is because you get the waving of the magazine to go in it. And if you keep this gun for a long time and it's got the waving of that magwell when you're going there, it's going to start to give you problems as far as feeding. It's going to make noise whenever you're moving for your whatever type of predator or varmint that you want to go after. And that's going to cause the part of the gun to fail more than anything else. So we do it according to the license, the drawings and stuff that we have for the actual Kalashnikov magazine. So if you have an Ishmash or a Tula magazine that was originally done, it fits inside of our gun just like a glove with no rattling, nice and easy.
I've tried this in other brand AKs, and it fits in all of them.
Yeah, our magazines fit other guns, and our 5.56 magazine fits other guns because their magazines wells are open up, to be able to be this variant of an AK. We're not a variant. We're built off the exact way a Kalashnikov was. So we're an AK.
Well, I got a true story that happened 2 classes ago. One guy showed up with the milled receiver, I think Century C39 Centurion gun, whatever, and he brought in 4 magazines with him, which were all different. All 3 mags were different, and there was one of those shiny painted Korean one, then something else. I couldn't even tell what those were. And so we went to our practical portion of the class in the range, and he starts having all kinds of freaking feeding problems and stuff. So I wind up giving him the this magazines that came with the Pioneer Arms guns. So I gave him the Lander guns magazines, and he had ran the entire class without a single issue.
But, we spent a ton of time as far as quality control, and you got to hand it to Michael. A prime example is the 22 rifle that we did was done almost 3 years ago, and we were going through the process of trying to get a magazine that was reliable to be able to work. And we had a couple of projects, and for you guys in the manufacturing building, when you go to make a mode, it's thousands of dollars to make a mode. We thought we had a couple of good ideas to be able to do it, and we went out and we invested a lot of money in modes, and it didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. So we had to go back to the drawing board to get these magazines done, and they're really good, and that's why we released the rifle at that particular time, was to get the magazines out there with it. And if you'll notice, our 10-round magazines that you have look exactly like our 25-round magazines, because instead of putting screws or bolts or anything else in it, we actually ordered a mode and had a mode made, and we mowed another follower.
Okay. This is a 25 rounder.
Yeah, that's a 25 rounder, and you can't tell the difference between that and a 10 rounder until you start loading rounds on it.
Yeah,
they look identical.
I took it out yesterday to the farm, and I don't know, I probably shot 400 or 500 rounds through it, and It's fun. It's really fun. So what prompted you to do the 22? Was it a military request or what?
Well,
Both.
yeah, it's kind of there's a spot in the military for it to be done
For the good
for the training, because a lot of these countries are starting off with females, and we don't have a gun culture anymore. And it's the same way of a lot of countries. So for them to be able to learn how to do it and get the fundamentals of marksmanship, they need to start off with something that's not going to rattle their teeth. And the 22 is that. And it's a great gun to be here in the States just for that purpose, for the younger generation and the new shooters to be able to get comfortable firing before they step up, because you have all the exact same muscle memory. But unlike the ARs that are out on the market that are in 22, that are all polymer, and some of the other companies that made an attempt to do that with a barrel insert or a polymer rifle or something like that, we made a real AK. So people are wondering about the price that this has.
It's a real AK. Yeah,
it's an AK. It's a real one. It's the exact same procedure it takes to make our regular 7.62 or 5.56 gun, except we have to spend a little bit more time on it. And in case you didn't know, Marty, you have probably one of the first 10 in production 22s.
Oh, wow.
That's probably one of the first 10.
Take that, Marco. I got something you don't.
Mine is
I think Marco got his
mine's
before
got
you.
the wood.
Oh, you got the wood?
Just like me when I look at it.
You got the wood? Well, I got wood shooting it yesterday. It was a treat to shoot. And you've got the upgraded safety switch on this one too. Which I did order some of those from you a while back, and I switched all my safeties on all my AKs to this. So I really like it. It's got the extended, so you can use your index finger instead of having to come off and hit the thumb. I really like that. And it's got the bolt hold slot.
An interesting fact about that design on the safety there. David Fortier years ago come up with that idea of having it there. And we had an associate that I think we all know that we'll leave unnamed, that travels back and forth to Russia all the time, and it's not Marco. And oddly enough, the Russian gun started coming out with that safety on the side of it, and then Mark Krebs started producing it in the U.S. But that's an original David Fortier design. I was with him at the range during Big 3, I think. Yeah. That we had already had some proof of concepts out there before the Russians started using it, and then everyone else.
Yeah. Marco taking phone calls on the side here. Come on, quit cheating, Marco. David, he's got a lot of great ideas, and I bet he's not getting any royalties from that either, is he?
Nobody's getting any royalties from that.
Nobody.
Just like everything else in the gun business. Somebody makes something.
It's an equal opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an equal opportunity, no royalties.
Yeah.
Equal opportunity theft. IP theft.
It's like we used to say in the Army.
If you have a good idea, you just simply share it from the goodness of your heart, I guess. Or at least I want to believe that.
Yeah.
In the Army, you got SOPs, and there's every unit has an SOP. But there was only one SOP, and then everybody plagiarized it and passed it around. But there was only one original one.
There's only one original, and everybody copied it.
Yeah, and everybody just copied it and then changed their name on it. Instead of it being an airplane refueling, it turned into a tank. But yeah, that's how it was. Tough industry.
Talk about some of the SOTs and stuff. Does this thing work?
What are you holding up? Tell her what you're holding up there, Mark.
The CJ would know.
Leave it closer to the camera. There you
go.
We lost him. You offended him.
It's a nape protector for your helmet.
Oh, it goes in the back. I got you.
I don't know what it's going to protect from, but.
So we lost connection there. We're going to let them get reconnected. Hopefully they'll come back. Let me kick them out. Maybe that'll restart it. See if they come back. Florida connection. Maybe they got a hurricane going on down there. You know, have those pop-up hurricanes happen there all the time, Marco.
Well, maybe NSA listeners were had enough. I'm telling you, Marty, I'm telling you, I mean, you know, I've been around this game for a long time, right?
Yeah, longer than me.
The AKs and everything, and of course, I went from the purist, the collector, the don't put all that shit on my AK type of guy, to you know,
You
okay,
did a
let's
complete 180
accessorize
on
it.
that, didn't you?
Yeah, let's do it modern. No, you can leave your, you know, the collector's items and whatever, and take them out every now and then to impress someone. But then you have your working guns, the guns that you, well, in my case, I teach, and you know, teach the courses and stuff. And so as far as like the basic solid AKM, which is majority of the AKs now in the marketplace, right? It's an AKM model. This Pioneer Arms is one of a few, if not the only, a treasure that we still possess that we can tap into and buy a solid, good working gun. And then if you want to accessorize it, all of the accessories in the marketplace will fit on this gun, and it will
Well,
work.
this is you know, they've got the exact specs that the AKM, the Kalashnikov, was built off of, and he has the original blueprints there.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they had permission. They, you know, they bought the rights to that, and they're
Well,
still
that,
using those,
you
and that's how
know,
they're producing their AKs today. And I mean, you're
yeah,
not going
it's
to get a better quality AK, and especially for the price that
yeah,
that's coming in with these
I agree.
things. And when we get them back, we're going to have them talk about that. But I think it'd be a good time for us to go to listener questions as soon as they get back, and we'll start fielding some of these listener questions. And we're going to do what we're famous for here on the AK Corner, and we're going to give shit away.
Well, that's great, but remember how I was telling you when during Michael's presentation, when the historical part, and I told you to put a pin in certain things, right?
Yeah.
And basically, what I was gonna do is we would maybe touch on some of the stuff that's available on the marketplace, right? And although we're not gonna name names, I don't believe into trashing anyone or
No, we're not going to do that.
But the fact remains that Pioneer Arms, in one form or the other, been building these things since the 50s.
Since
Although
57,
there might have been a period of maybe 6, 7, 8 years where the factory was in complete decline due to a lack of military orders or whatnot. But the expertise, the documentation, the blueprints, the whole the manufacturing processes, all of that remains intact and was revived in time by Michael after he bought the factory. And so as opposed to someone who started making them 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
or even
the source of the parts
15 years ago, you know,
or even, well,
they've been doing it since, you know, the late 50s.
Yeah. And the source of parts is also questionable. You know, when we go to when we touched on the trunnions and stuff, I mean, there's a cast trunnion and there's a cast trunnion. You know, there's a quality casting that you can do and it would hold up and the military gun would select fire, whatever. And there's a casting that you do at the local foundry that casts, I don't know, fishing reels or some shit.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that all got into a conversation I was having with some people. I went to the Big Rock this past weekend here in Nashville. And, you know, we were talking about the cast and versus the forged. And, you know, it's like nobody really knows why cast got a bad name. It had to have been somebody, you know, some writer got a hold of a bad AK one time and they blamed it on the, you know, the cast, and they got, you know, it happens. Sometimes you get a bad cast from some.
Yeah, you don't even if you have you have installed and implemented the quality casting into your production.
Yeah.
But if you don't X-ray it, so you're bound to get one or two that's got a massive freaking.
Yeah, it happened. It wasn't like there was a mass outbreak in these cast trunnions that were having, and then
not necessarily about the article. It could be just through the forums. That's where the most of the
forums,
most of the whiners actually exist. Not to say that the forum members every one of them is a whiner. No, by any means.
Yeah.
I'm
Not
saying
that
that the whiners, the guy that whines all the time on the internet, just
Yeah.
because his gun is the precious thing that he bought and stuff, and that's the best one there is, and that he spent like sleepless nights to save the money to buy the gun. Then all of a sudden there's some problem with it, and
Right.
it's of course it's the worldwide freaking problem. So you always deal with those guys in the forums,
Yeah.
and sometimes they mislead the actually honest guys who trying to learn about the weapon, about the gun.
Hey,
and
so it's
stuff.
saying that you need to turn on your camera, your mic.
Oh, the CJ is trying to get on.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor and get a rag or something and wipe your camera off, because you got a finger smudge or something on it on your shirt. But Marco and I were just kind of going and talking a little bit about, how casting got a bad name unjustly.
Yeah, like I was saying, there's a casting and there's a casting. Right. And then another thing that we mentioned is like you might implement some kind of quality casting process into your manufacturing, but if you don't have quality control, like X-ray, for example, which is crucial in casting, and you bound to make a few that would actually be substandard, and it just through the confluence of stars lining up in the sky that the whiner on the forum would get that particular gun. And
I don't know. I don't know if you saw this when you were there or not, Marty, but did you see the barrel, the baskets of nickel and the baskets of carbon and stuff?
Yeah.
That's all because most of a lot of people just do a casting with whatever the material they'll get, and they'll be like, this is what we've got. We actually check the hardness and the material makeup, to find out how much nickel that we need to add, or how much carbon that we need to add before the product's ever casting to get our desired result. So that's something we do that a lot of manufacturers don't do. A lot of the Chinese stuff, I'm not going to say the 56 was that way, but a lot of Chinese stuff that comes out of here is just melted metal. I'm not even going to say steel. It's melted metal that was casting to be that way. And there's a company that had bulge forged trunnions not too long ago on the market here in the U.S. within the past 2 years, that the forged bulge trunnions were failing because of the materials that was done with.
Yeah,
there is lots of it's the process, it's the heat treatment, control everything. Our casting house is the new enterprise. We built it in 2012, and basically we were using the another casting houses, and we're very unsatisfied with the quality as well. The productivity. So, when we decide to build our own casting house, we hired people from England, and England is the motherhood of casting houses. And actually, the guy who set up our plant and the technology is the guy who worked with the casting houses for the Rolls-Royce aircraft engines. So, we what you say, how you said you drink with the mother's milk. So
yeah,
we got the right stuff.
Yeah, we
went from the beginning. So we didn't fool around. We didn't, there's lots of so-called casting houses who does terrible jobs. There are, let's put it this way, gas blocks. They were always casted. Even in the AK technology in 1970s, you get some gas blocks from China or Taiwan, they will blow up because they will not withhold the pressure.
Allegedly, we don't actually have visual proof, but yeah, that's
what we heard.
There's a lot of damage and stuff that comes from that does make that. So there is an inherent thing out there as far as casting goes, but it all goes off the procedure and stuff, the way that it's done. If we didn't X-ray our parts, we would never know if there was a bubble or a crack in it.
We will never put on the gun. We'll never decide to.
But a lot of companies don't have that. They either one, buy 90% of their products from companies overseas, or two, they have old stock of guns that they've cut out. And by the way, for new companies going out there, if you have a company that manufactures guns and they have a bunch of old stock parts, those old stock parts didn't meet specs, so they wouldn't use them themselves. So you have to look at that side of the aspect on it. So, I mean, a lot of it goes into play to get a good manufacturing gun out there, quality control. Pioneer has a very in-depth quality control with everything that's manufactured. And then once the guns get to the States in our 922R process, one of the things that we do is we have 4 QA/QC steps before it ever leaves us. So we spend a lot amount of time to make sure that these guns leave and that they're proper, and we stand behind them. We had somebody that said, I'll buy one of those guns when the owner of the company shoots 5,000 rounds through it. Well, there's videos online where I've shot 8,000 rounds through that same gun, shot it enough that the barrel got so hot that the actual front grips caught on fire. And then I threw it in a ditch of water. I picked it back up and I continued shooting it. And I
bet Marco's got more than 8,000 through his, huh?
Oh, yeah. No, I have. This is just the one gun that we did on video. A 5,000 round test, just one round
back
after another.
to back. I got you.
And we were able to do that because I have several employees here that could fire the gun, and we had welding gloves. So, yeah, and the gun didn't.
Did it in shifts, right?
No.
So, what I want to do is I want to get to listener questions, but before we do that, Marco earlier was saying let's put a pin in that. So, Marco, where we put our pin, pick up on that while I'm pulling up the listener questions here because we got stuff to give away.
Real quick, I just want to go back to Michael's presentation when I was asking him questions about the history when the Factory 11 started to build the AKs, and so basically what I'm trying to say is there are several manufacturers in the U.S. that make AKs, and I'm not going to name any particular names or anything, and I don't believe into trashing anyone, but just the sheer fact that Factory 11 was building the AK since mid to late 50s into a modern era. Then there was period of decline just about everywhere in Eastern Europe. That was in Russia too. The factory had to shut down, and there was a period, maybe 8 years or something, before Michael, you guys resurrected it, and you renewed this production or resurrected the production. So what I'm saying is, not only that it was the rifles were being built from the get-go, they were built from the original blueprints, but also all the expertise, the people, those 20,000 employees that over the years shrunk to something, I would assume, but still remained in the areas and were able to get hired, and their expertise could be pulled back into reestablishing the new production. Just those facts tell you that what you hold in your hand when you buy a Pioneer Arms AK is the closest thing to the original. You actually buy in the AKM, but also the quality of it, which is the part of manufacturing processes, right, is also present in it. Inherent quality, which, you can put it, like we were saying earlier, you can put the lipstick on the pig, it's still a pig. So you can put, some other manufacturers might put some kind of fancy handguard on it, or some kind of stock or whatever. But fact remains, what actually makes the gun work, right? That actually fires the round and cycles it and so on and so on, cannot be, if there's no quality built into it, it cannot be covered by some fancy accessory, is what I'm saying. So buying the Pioneer Arms AKM, that's what it is, I'm just going to call it, is probably the best proposition in the U.S. market at this point for the AK lovers and alike. And it's a solid gun that you can rely on. And the way it's priced is it makes it the people's gun. That's all I wanted to say let's put the pin in that and then return to it. That's all I wanted to say.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, we were talking about that as far as the quality that you're getting in the Pioneer Arms rifle versus the price point. I mean, it's ridiculous because anything else with that quality that these things are coming to the market with are, 40% more or even double the price of what you guys are charging on these things. So the fact that you're able to bring them to the market for such a reasonable price, because over the last few years, we've seen the AK just skyrocket in price.
Sorry to interrupt, but, we were able to keep the moderate price or lower price on our product because we control the complete production. We produce everything in-house. So we don't have any vendors who dictate us the prices. We were also, because we have all production process in-house, including all of the parts, we were able to survive COVID and all of the crises which were caused by COVID, as well the economic problems with the current situation. So, having the production in-house allow us to keep the low price and get good quality for the money.
Very good.
Well, I mean, just need to clarify it for the listeners.
Okay.
Is that obviously there are people like Jim Fuller that can make, I guess it equates to a masterpiece, right? So it would be, but you pay for that. You know what I mean? Krebs can build a gun that is freaking just unbelievable when you hold it and stuff. But again, you got to pay for it. I mean, 3-4 times what you can take one off the shelf. And then, for, just getting into the AK, for example, for someone as a first rifle, this is the greatest option amongst the others out there that in that price range, and if you take the price as a constant, the quality is not even comparable to you cannot compare it to what's out there.
Well, what we've got is we have our Mako or our Snap-on tool that we're selling basically for Harbor Freight prices.
Yeah.
So we're selling the best AK that you can buy for any price as far as durability, reliable, and warranty. We have the best one on the market at any price. And I've talked to many of naysayers that have been in their basement talking about how great their $5,000 or $6,000 rifle is, and I've offered challenges to put my basic rifle up against their rifle in shoot-offs, and nobody's ever been able to do it. It's a good rifle for what it's built for, and one of the main differences that we have versus a lot of other companies that are producing firearms, especially ones here in the U.S., is that our firearm, other than a few changes, is a military firearm. We are a defense contractor in Poland, and the majority of our guns that are made are going out to military countries. So we change, of course, the bayonet lug, the select fire, a little bit of difference on the bolt and the sear and with the trigger. But other than that, as far as all the hardware, the trunnion, the barrel, the boat itself, as far as it being forged, our boat guide, our gas tube, our gas rod, our receiver, our triggers are all exactly the same that's in the military gun. So very few changes on that, and the rest of it is still a military gun, because that's what we make for our military contractors. And we don't make 2 different grades of triggers. We don't make 2 different grades of barrels. We make the same ones that are for our military contractors.
Logistically impossible to run triggers for military and for commercial. No way. It's just like bolt carrier. We make same bolt carrier for both versions. We just cut, the additional shading operation.
Yeah.
So if we will have to run the separate lots for commercial and for military, we will get lost. no way to distinguish the parts. So that same parts goes, to military and commercial, except, the commercial will have additional operations to modify the parts to suit semi-auto configuration.
So long story short, we can't cut parts or take shortcuts on our civilian guns because we'd shoot ourselves in the foot on the military guns. So we do everything to military standard, and I'm not talking about what the U.S. calls as military grade for a piece of paper that follows it around on the lowest bidder product. Our product is a high quality product that's going over it's I would say more than likely it's probably on the battlefield of Ukraine right now. So our products are military products. We are Poland, the company in Poland cannot sell guns to civilians. They sell them to the U.S. market, and then they sell them to the military. In this case, it happens to be the largest arms supplier in the world, Excalibur, and you've been there, Marty, so from helicopters to tanks to small arms, and we make all of their small arms. So we have to be doing something right, or these military companies would not buy from us.
Lots of companies knocking to the Excalibur door, dozen, and I don't want to name all of them, but so far we are only one supplier for years.
And there's several companies that competed against Excalibur for a military contract for one of the island companies for their 5.56 rifle that they have in the AK style. And we built that gun for them. That's our contract. As a matter of fact, you can go to Classic Firearms and you can buy one of those guns certified.
Very cool. Let's do this now. And you guys are putting out other guns besides the AK, some historical guns, the PPS 43, the PM 63, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. It's kind of talk, and Marco's holding his up there. Talk a little bit about those two firearms that you guys are putting out. That's nice. Where I like the sling. I like that sling.
We do the PPS 43 and 9mm and the historical 7.62x25 version, and we also do the PM 63. PM 63 for a lot of you guys that are gamers and stuff. It's in a lot of the different video games. It was in the Umbrella Academy as one of the assassin guns. It was in there. So it's a fun little pistol 9x18. Marco's having one there. It was originally full auto, and we've converted it to a closed bolt firing system on it that still shoots the 9x18. And then you have the 7.62x25, which we have with it. And actually, we have a limited edition version of that one we call the Stalingrad version, because that gun was actually invented during the siege of Stalingrad. And it is credited with historians of being the best submachine gun during World War II, and it was also the machine gun that stopped the Germans in the Third Reich. And basically, that was one of the largest turning points in the war. And they actually produced that gun inside of Stalingrad while it was under siege. And that goes to the simplicity of the gun and how the gun actually worked in there, defeating the Germans with the reliability and the ease of manufacturing to have that done. And then we have the 9mm version, which is really fun to shoot. Their pistols is how we bring them in, and that's what they're categorized as. So it's a fun little gun in 9mm to take out to the range and relax and do some target shooting and stuff with.
And for those who like to have the NFA items, like SBRs, for example, it's the easiest gun to turn into SBR. It comes in with the stock, but it's fixed in place that it cannot be readily unfolded. But if you go through the process of filing the form, whatever it is, form 4 is it, and then getting the SBR, then you can do it in your garage in a way.
Yeah, it's a very simple conversion.
But can I make one correction, CJ? It was a siege of Leningrad.
Yeah, that's what I said. Did I say Stalingrad?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the siege of Leningrad. It wasn't the siege of Stalingrad. The 3-year siege. Yeah.
Get those two dictators mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's easy to do. It's easy to do. It's okay.
I'm a big fan of the movie of Enemy at the Gates, and so I always have Stalingrad on my mind.
Which is a huge battle and stuff, so it's easy. But anyway, just to give you an idea, the guy who designed it was Sudayev. He was a colonel at the age of 24. And furthermore, this design was so successful, right? And like CJ mentioned, it was deemed to be one of the best subguns of World War II, if not the best. But Ev Sudayev, he won the first stage of competition for what we now know as AK rifle. But unfortunately, at age 28, he passed away with he had debilitating disease and he died, and all of his plans to master that particular gun that he submitted for trials died with him. However, the Kalashnikov went in and he took a lot of the componentry design ideas from that gun and implemented on his next stage submission variant.
Now,
so that's how. So if the guy didn't die, it wouldn't be AK; it would be AS.
Good to know. Good to know.
And I think, Marco, you can reiterate on this a little bit. The production of the PPS 43 was about 8 hours, and then he come up to be able to reduce that production to total. Well, I think it was less than that. I think it was an hour and a half. Am I right on that, Marco?
Yes, absolutely. And again, to your point, it was done in the city that is under siege and constant bombardment.
Yeah, under siege. Three years. It just talks about the stubbornness of the Russians. Explains you a lot, but just how that they refused to give in, and the starvation and everything else that they went through, and the entire time they're coming up with new ways to kill Germans, and you've really got to admire that part of history and their steadfastness that they did.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. But then perseverance, but also the genius of this design is so simplistic. And the biggest thing is it was, whereas PPSH, which we all know and love, right, with the drum and stuff, and it's a good weapon, but it fired 1,000 rounds a minute, which has caused a waste of unnecessary spent ammunition within, in the country that was, struggling with the war and everything. So this thing came in with 600 rounds a minute approximately, which is the regular, most of the full auto weapons nowadays, the modern ones that fire at that particular rate. But it made it also very good shooting gun. So the soldiers in the front line immediately appreciated it, which there was no appreciable recoil. It was easy to maintain with the, disassembly takes like literally 1.75 seconds or something like that. Crazy. It's very easy, which means that it makes it even in the pistol form, right? Whether you're firing the 9mm or 7.62 Tokarev, makes a really, really cool gun to shoot in semi version of it.
I agree. So it's a fun gun to shoot.
But
I shot it yesterday. I took it out yesterday and shot it.
The CJ at that Red October, did we shoot at those rocks with this thing or with the AKs?
I think we shot with the AKs and with that one. If I remember correctly, I won that shoot off.
I don't know. There are a few people might disagree, but
I think the only person that would disagree would be you, Marco. But I think it wound up it was a very slight win. It was one round.
Do we have any video?
Because I'm just going to do this, all right? I don't do it often, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. On account of you having much better beard, that makes you better looking, I'm going to have to submit to that. So,
although I do have a picture of you with that rifle next to a T-55.
Oh, T-62.
T-62. I knew it was.
Yes.
I knew it was a tank. I couldn't remember which one they had out there. So maybe we'll just call it a draw, and then we'll get together and do a shoot off again. Maybe
let's
bring
do
the
it.
lead heads down.
I like that. That's good. We'll do that. So let's do this.
I might, because on account of me being all old and stuff, I might have to have my son Brandon substitute.
No substitutes. gotta be the originals. So let's go to listener questions now. I make a post before every episode asking for listener questions, and you guys definitely jumped in on this one. We've got a lot of questions here, so I'm not going to read them all. We're going to go through and pick a few, but everybody's eligible. Like if you participated, then you're eligible to win the prizes. And CJ, let's talk about that. This season's going to be special, and it's because of Pioneer Arms Corp that the AK Corner has been possible for these 6 years. You guys jumped in our first year on this and got behind us and supported us on the AK Corner, and it was such a hit that we continued it every year going forward here. So thank you guys for believing in me, believing in this vision that I had to educate people and bring the AK knowledge to the masses. So appreciate you guys doing that and continuing it this year. So
You're more than welcome on that, Marty. We appreciate everything that you're doing for the that you did with Talking Lead. It was an inspiration when you come up with this idea that you wanted to do, and we definitely wanted to get in and support you and help the community with this, with answers.
And I know our listeners are very appreciative, and we continue to appreciate our listeners with the giveaway. So what are you guys going to reward one of our lucky listeners with today?
Well, we talk about our accessories and stuff, and we're going off with that. So I have a small accessory pack that we set up with so that the guys that have regular AKs and stuff can motorize it. We have our enhanced safety. We have one of these that we're going to send out so that they can go with a safety on there. We have our glow-in-the-dark patch, and it's Velcro, so you can put it on. The only way we don't sell these or anything else, you can only get them if we give them out. We also have our I've got to get used to this camera here. This is our compensator to go up with it. It's got nice little ridges in the end of it, as you can see that, in case you're going through a door and there's let's say a mannequin in your way that you can thump in the chest to move. And it also helps control the recoil there.
That'll fit on a 14 left.
Yeah, it sure is left hand, so it'll fit right on there, direct fit. And then the big thing that we're doing is we have these on here. Now, we were talking about our military guns. This replaces your rear sight to let you have your Picatinny on it. So you can have this set up on top for your rear sight. And it comes with a pistol grip. And the pistol grip has a storage compartment on the bottom there that you can put your rear sight in. Of course, you have to put a little piece of cloth or tape on it to keep it from rattling. That way you don't lose your rear sight. Just a little upgrade kit for the the AKs that they already have, and we'll get this sent out to them, and they can do an upgrade on it.
Perfect. So
That's
one of
a
our
good looking pistol grip. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Yep, it's good looking. And then returning again as supporting sponsors, Mission First Tactical, and we're going to give away one of their nice drinky drink.
That's a big smoke grenade. That's a lot of smoke.
That's a lot of smoke.
I could have used that in Iraq.
We'll have to talk to Dave about maybe getting some of those for our troops. But we're going to be giving away one of those today. And then also from Seal 1, I don't have the whole kit here, but we're going to give away a complete gun care kit, CLP kit from Seal 1. You can see I've been using the crap out of this on my guns. I've been doing a lot of cleaning up lately. The New Year resolution. But yeah, one of you lucky listeners is going to get complete kit from Seal 1 on that.
I've been running that. I have a belt fed PKM. It's actually a PKM-T. It was a Turk machine gun with butterflies on it, 54R. That's full auto. I have one of the pre-ban ones, that was authorized to have. And I run that on it when we go out to run the belt fed. And I mean, that bad boy just works smooth through it. I'll let you shoot it when you come down, Marty. I'll probably you too, Marco. I'll probably have to show you how to load it, but it's
Would you
Marco's
please? I've
probably
never
got
seen
one.
it.
yeah.
I never seen it. That was a dream of mine, you know.
Yeah, so it's butterflied, and we have
Is
a
it,
nice
is
one
it
down
still
here.
in the tank? That's the thing. No.
Well, we'll talk about the tank later.
All right. First question is from Sinister Fist. And this kind of goes back to the original Polish PMKs. Can you please discuss the history and current use applications of the muzzle and underbarrel grenade launchers, specific to the Polish design, but interested in all variants, the LON-I, the GP25, GP30, GP35. Thanks.
That's all you, Marco.
Well, I'm not familiar with the Polish. I mean, I've seen the pictures, but I had no experience at all with the Polish design. But the GP25 is what we had when I was in the service, and of course the later version of it was GP30, which would accommodate a modern, I guess, more modern 100 series AKs. But GP25 and its design and I guess intended use was was a great weapon, I would say, and that's anybody that can lob the grenade a few 100 meters or put it into let's say a window somewhere or onto a group of enemy in the pocket of resistance or something at distance. I mean, it's a great gun. It's like your pocket artillery in a way. It's a simple to use. It's simple. It's a muzzle load instead of unlike the M2 or 3. So we were issued with two types of grenades. One just a high explosive, and the other one like a jumper that would initially jump to like a meter height and then explode that way. So in any case, I mean, I have nothing but the positive things to say about it. The only negative thing about it is though, a lot of people don't realize this, but it puts a very, very harsh and a lot of stress on the gun itself. And it was recommended by the armorers to turn your gun enough to 400 shots out of that grenade launcher. So grenade launcher was all right, but the gun itself started to get destroyed, in the way of the rivets and cracks in the receivers and so on and so on. It puts a lot of stress on the gun itself. So,
Which is why they made it with more robust parts.
Correct, and they had that plate installed in the AK-74 amps and whatnot. But nevertheless, I mean, it was like I said, it's a great weapon, easy to use. It was issued with the rubber pad to put on the stock so you can fire it from the shoulder. But in my practice, it was always used as a little mortar instead of the shoulder held. And some of the grenadiers that were getting really good with them, they could estimate the angle of attack, so to speak, on which to lob the grenade into the dwelling or over the fence or so on and so on. But you could fire it from the shoulder, and that will give you a nice little kick.
Yeah, which, as far as the launchers go, modern day now, they either have something specific for that, a separate rifle or mechanism. And then
I think, and the CJ could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the, especially SF units, trying to get away from the under barrel mounting of those things, and then I think LMT came up with a standalone platform,
dedicated,
and so it's easy to deploy. It's easy, so there's no confusion, and it doesn't put any stress on the gun. And then they just whip it out and use it as a separate weapon, and it's compact. It's not that you just sling it over shoulder on the back somewhere, and then deploy it when you need it.
Right. And, they got back to the roots of it because the M79, which is the one that we had in the 60s and 70s in Vietnam, was
the thumper.
Was perfect. If you were left-handed to be able to shoot, it was a perfect left-handed, and they went back to that. And the There's all manner of different kinds that we have, but we've went away with it. Some of the standard military, let me say support units, not our first line infantry units and units. So a lot of the support battalions and stuff still have the underbarrel 203 that they have, just because they haven't completely went out of stock, but they have went to the single shot that has a collapsible stock on the back of it that you can pull out, much more accurate, much more easier to use, and it didn't interfere with your qualifications and stuff with your rifle. Because you're correct with that being mounted underneath the rifle caused a lot of problems with zero. The rifle's holding zero. After they fired the 203 a couple of times, it would cause issues with it. And of course, they have the multi-launch 203 with almost like a I don't want to say a Gatling, but almost like a revolver with the multiple cylinders to be able to do it. But those come out a little bit later than I received out of the military, so I haven't worked with them a lot. And I've seen the 203s on AKs. But I don't have any experience with them because nobody ever dropped it with ammo.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I shoot it on a regular basis. Between me and Brendan, we have two of them. A 9-incher and
40 millimeters or 37s?
No, 40, the actual LMTs.
I'm gonna have to stay away from you. You're dangerous, Marco.
Dangerous.
No, wait. Right before Christmas, I'm sitting in my, leisurely in my lazy boy, and he walks Brandon carrying a RPG-7, a live RPG-7. That guy is not gonna tell you. He's not gonna. You saw it, Marty, right? I showed it in the.
Well, you showed it on the show.
Yeah,
you did it on the season finale. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I think Brandon is installing a military type tow hitch on his Volvo, and I think he's preparing to tow like a M777 in. That guy's not gonna rest until he
created a monster, Marco. You created a monster.
Whiskey River Beef, farmed at table with a twist. Come along with us on a quest towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production and fostering a robust local food source to promote good health. Stock up with premium Tennessee beef, unparalleled in flavor and tenderness. You can be confident that you're receiving beef with no added growth hormones or implants. Always pasture-raised, locally USDA processed, and shipped straight to your home. Whiskey River Beef is grass and whiskey mash fed and finished, and is at least 14 days dry-aged to enhance the tenderness and give you the most robust flavor imaginable. Go to whiskeyriverbeef.com today to order. Visit us on Instagram at Whiskey River Life and on Facebook at Whiskey River Beef LLC. Whiskey River Beef is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
All right, next question. This is from Glautru, and he's a longtime listener here. Said, I heard you guys mention years ago that Pioneer was doing military contracts for rifles. Are you still doing military contracts, and if so, for who? We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. So if you guys want to expand on that anymore, feel free.
Hang on, what was the nickname of that guy? Is it like a Colonel Orlov or something like that?
Glautreu, Glautru. I don't know where he gets that.
Basically, we can only tell that Excalibur Army is our end user, and that's where our trail ends.
Gotcha.
And we cannot release any more information on that.
Fair enough. J Black, P2P, welcome back, Pioneer and CJ, and thank you for being one of the main reasons Lefty was able to begin this monthly segment that is now entering its 6th season. I currently have one of your pistols, one of the 12 you gave away through the AK Corner, and love it. What plans do you have for Marco's favorite caliber, AK, the AK-74, even though there is a shortage on ammo?
We don't. We don't have any plans for the AK-74 because right now there's no military application that would work on the contract side over there with it. And for everybody that stands back and says, oh, I want to get an AK-74, the productions and stuff that we would have to change, we would have to do hundreds. We would have to create modes. We'd have to do a dedicated line to be able to do those guns over. And then this gentleman and 7 other people would buy it, and then we would have them sitting on the shelf because there's no ammunition for it. So it's kind of a profit thing, and we're trying to keep costs down by doing simplicity of certain calibers and stuff we're doing, and then changing the different types of models and not getting in depth into the actual cost of that. The gun. We can definitely build it. They were built in the past. Not by us, but by the previous company, but it just serves no reason for us to be able to do it. It's like people saying, man, I really love that. I really love the Suzuki Samurai, but when they come out and find out that Suzuki Samurai that they want for a production, for the production cost of one, it's just outrageous. The only reason their prices are as least expensive as they are is because we make so many of them, and we already have the modes and parts and stuff to do it. Once we start changing it, research and development has to be there for the safety reasons and stuff, the test fires, and then it becomes cost prohibitive versus the number that we're going to sell. I mean, and to be honest, we kind of gambled with the 22 just because of the cost of building the 22. The modes that we had to get to change the different parts on it. So we kind of gambled with putting the 22 out on the market as our newest firearm, just due to the fact of the way that the market is and how finicky it is, and the number of sales that we were going to have on that gun. It's cost versus reward is what it boils down to. So yes, we love the 74. Yes, if him and a couple of 15,000 of his buddies want a 74 and want to put it in an order, we will absolutely make him one.
Well, you might get that order, so careful what you promise.
Well, we're waiting for it. Call me.
Next.
Just to mention something, there's a company called Tela, Tela Impex, that just brought in, right before Christmas, brought in 1.5 million rounds of newly produced 545.
And you have it all.
From Azerbaijan.
And Marco has it all.
I don't. I got like 3 boxes.
Call Marco. Email Marco if you want some ammo.
No, but there is. If you go online to teleimpex.com, I think, and buy the they only sell it because it's not the importer, so they don't sell it in packs. They sell it in the case, which is 1,500, I guess, rounds in the case. But if you put all caps Marco, MARCO, I think you get some kind of discount.
Or you get flagged.
No, you get a discount, but I don't.
Do you really?
I don't know how much.
Do they get a discount for real?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Well, they just sold out. So,
and if you want to get if you want to get it cheaper, and you can get a letter from law enforcement. Classic has a Connex of it sitting there that's steel core that you can get.
The original 7M6.
Yeah, you just have to have a letter.
Yep.
There you go. All right, next question is Pacific Northwesterner. Glad Pioneer is having an entire episode to itself. They're having an entire season, Pacific. Folks online love to trash Pioneer rifles for being low quality. I want to help be a Pioneer Arms truther and evangelist. So help me out. Are Pioneer front trunnions and bolts made from forged or cast steel? I want to see you guys succeed. Well, we just spent 30 minutes.
Cover that.
Yeah, forged.
Forged. They are forged. Gerard Link. How hard was it for Polish government to switch to the NATO round as far as tool up and everything else to support the military? I don't know that they really switched to a NATO round, did they?
They sure did.
Yeah, their Barry's a 5.56 gun.
Oh, they got a 5. They're okay. They're not using the other one. Oh, okay. I got you.
And we do the 5.56 gun. So I think other than the logistics I don't think it was any problem at all. It had to be a pretty easy transition.
Yeah. I think we covered this question too. Boba 1776. Why the departure from casting to forging if it has been working all these years? You guys answered that. Is there concerns for those of us that proudly own hell pups that were cast?
No, still covered. It's not an issue. We'll take care of that.
Right. It really becomes of peace of mind for those who, for let's say, consumer at large, right? So it's sort of like the same argument with the people that accustomed to 3006s or 3030s and 308s saying that 30 caliber AK better than, let's say, 545, right? Just because it's 30, it's bigger. And it's the same thing. It's like we talked about high quality castings in the military guns, and they had no failure, 0 failure rate. But just because it says it's forged, in somebody's mind, that means, oh, that's better. And I'm thinking that's what an issue is at this point. But as far as the quality is concerned, I wouldn't even blink once.
No, that gun's fully warranted, and if they ever have a problem with that, they contact us, and we'll make sure that they're taken care of.
Right. But the forged is forged, and the high quality casting is just as good.
If Marco stands behind it, then
Yeah, he can look at my face on here and know that I stand behind that gun as far as the warranty and everything else in my warranty department, and he'll be taken care of. I make sure that I'm on top of my customer service people, and if there's any issues or anything else, and they're not rapidly getting back with our customers when we do have a concern, that I personally get involved in it.
Here's a good question. Old Tennessean, which cans function best with your AKs, flow-through or more traditional suppressors? With ARs, each can has a different effect. How does the AK design compare?
Actually, we're not a hammer forged barrel. We're a hook pulled barrel. So we have a truer center to the barrel, so they don't have to shoot the traditional flow through cans like on most AKs that don't have a concentric barrel. So we really don't have any problem with either one he wants to shoot. The traditional suppressor works great on ours. And that being said, if you have a traditional suppressor for your 308 and you would like to shoot it on your AK without having to go to the process of changing the threads on your suppressor, we make an adapter that goes from left hand to right hand that'll let you put your 308 suppressor onto your AK.
Which is what I've got right here.
Look at that.
On this one.
Yeah. And what do you think? Nice firing gun. Nice.
I didn't have any issues with it. It was accurate. Yep. It was quiet. It shot great. Didn't have any problems with it whatsoever.
I have on one of the demo guns that Pioneer Arms provided for my classes, I have the disavow, which is 3D printed. It's flow through can, and it's just Hollywood quiet with subsonics. Not a single misfeed, whatever, any kind of malfunction of any kind. And I'm switching between the subsonics, supersonics, whatever. It eats everything every time you put something in. Also, I had experience with the Rocket. I believe it's the Rocket can, which is not flow through. And then you just get a little more gas in your face kind of type of deal. But other than that, works perfectly fine. And you don't have to, it's like a lot of people have this wrong idea about adjustable gas piston and so on and so on. I never once had to experience anything, but just
and you
the Lord intended.
And you can find these to our website. So they're set up on the end of it. So you have so that they'll lock in. When you go there, it has a little wrench there. So to help you get your suppressor on and off when you want to take it off through your can to put it on the teeth on it. And once again, like I said, it just locks in by your pin. So you ain't got to worry about it backing off away from your barrel. But we sell these on our website, pioneerarms.com or pioneerarmsus.com. And you can go there and you can buy these on our website. Very inexpensive. They're out on the market. Not our particular model. They're a little bit different. If you could find them for about $89 or so. Ours are well under the $40 mark, and we have them on there. And we also have the adapters left hand to right hand. If you have your favorite muzzle brake from your 5.56 gun that you want to run on our 5.56 rifles or on our 22, that you can do that without having to get a special something else. You can run your 22 can on our 22 rifle, left to right hand, and then you can run your 5.56 can on our 5.56 rifle with our 5.56 adapter, left hand to right hand thread, to do that. And we sell those online also. Very
CJ, can I have a question? Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
CJ, what's the best way to do it? To attach the adapter to the can, tighten it, and then put it on the muzzle, or all the way around?
I think just to make sure that you got the. I mean, it's just preference. I like to put the adapter on the gun first, so I can make sure that I've got it seated correctly, and then I like to put the can on top of that. So. That way there's not any canting or any cross threading or anything else going on. It's you have a steady platform before you screw it in there, and then you're good. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. The
threads that are put on there are really for once you've done, like I like to do with my 30 cal, and take it out to the range and put about 400 or 500 rounds out of it, and there's a lot of carbon on it. So that wrench adapter's on there really just to help you to get that broken loose from the can itself, so you can clean the can.
Yep.
I mean, I had no problem getting mine off right then, and I shot, like I said, about 300 rounds to it yesterday alone. So it's fine. All right, next question. Brett Badal. Glad to see Pioneer Arms as a sponsor. Talk about 5.56 AKs. Are these built using imported or U.S. barrels? With popularity of standard AR mags, do you plan to offer a version that uses AR mags? Is there any disadvantages to that style mag on an AK? As much as I love 5.45, I have zero interest in playing the games of trying to buy food to feed it.
Yeah, we just covered that. Well, we have award-winning barrels that we make in Poland. So the barrels on the 5.56 gun are made in Poland. And we bring in the gun to do the 922R process. I actually think that our magazine design that we have, which is a compliant part that, of course, we have moded here in the U.S. off of our modes, is a superior magazine to the AR type style magazine. I mean, I think that we've done a really good job designing it, and I don't see a need for us to change anything else. It does fit a couple of other rifles that are out there that have the same 5.56 pattern with it. I know Zastava, it fits their 5.56 gun without any problem. But no, our rifle that we make over there, once again, it was made for our military partner that we have, and we've taken that rifle and converted it to civilian use. And I personally don't think there's a need to change the magazine and reinvent the wheel. Do you, Michael?
Of course.
There's an adapter floating out there in the marketplace that you install it like an AK designated mag well, and then it would accept the AR mags, but I don't see the need for it. So quite honestly,
our mags are very inexpensive. All of our accessories and stuff that we sell for our firearms, to include our magazines, and this includes the magazines for our 22. We have our accessories sold at a price. So if you buy our firearm, you can get our accessories very inexpensive, and to be able to dress your gun up, whether you want to go to a full polymer set or you want to go to a handguard rail system, with the collapsible stock on the back of it. Our accessories are very inexpensive for the market, and we've done that for the customer that gets one of our guns to want to go ahead and create a one-off or something different and be able to do it and not break the bank. I had a TBI moment there. For our customers to be able to do that, to upgrade their rifle inexpensively and to make it look super nice and to change it.
Very good. Mustang Perry, so excited to see Pioneer Arms USA returning as sponsor. I would love to get my hands on a laminate furniture rifle. You can't beat the classic looks of the AK. I would have to second John Adams' third question about any plans on doing a 5.45. I know you guys are standard stocks and underfolders, but do you have any plans on having side folding triangle stocks in the future? Thanks for sponsoring the podcast.
We already have side folding stocks. We don't have the side folding triangle stock because there's plenty of those on the market. And I don't really see the need of putting the being able to change the back of our receivers and stuff to be able to do that. You've got to understand, Marty, we're only doing 1,200 guns a month. So we're not mass producing and throwing all these rifles and stuff out there. We're doing 1,200 guns a month, and we're doing them in a couple variations. And that 1,200 guns include PM63s, PPSs, 5.56, 7.62, and 22. So we're limited on the number of guns we could produce. So we're not going to take that production time away that we have to be able to come out with another product that may or may not be a hit.
Come on, Michael, expand that factory.
If you can expand the buyers, we will expand the factory.
The buyers are there. They will buy. Bring it, and they will buy.
They're for sale on our website. Go there.
There you go. So first off, guys, start buying more, and then you'll see all these other different
What's
ones.
the minimum order? 15,000?
545? Man, we could probably get away with the 10,000 round order. 10,000.
Marty, send it out to every
They're listening
corner of the
now.
world.
So email me, leadheads.
Let us know and send in a deposit, and we'll get to work on them.
We're going to start a Sam's Club for buying AKs.
Yeah, because it's we have to have that initial money to put in there to be able to do it, so we don't charge our existing customers, so they don't have to do the Biden tax to add on for somebody else's product.
Well, hopefully we don't have that much longer. But anyway, Michael, we were talking earlier about the factory, and you have actually expanded the factory. You guys have grown, and talk a little bit about that, about the expansion that you guys have experienced.
Since you were there 5 years ago, we added additional over 10,000 square feet, and basically this allowed us to place new wood processing line, expand a little bit CNC machine, additional CNC machines for the capacity we're doing right now.
For the forged trunnions?
Yeah, because 1,200 is of course the commercial side. We do another quantities for the military. So we needed more capacity, and basically we brought additional machines to cover everything in-house. Right now, the last step, which hopefully we will do this year or maybe beginning of the next year, how Dilad mentioned, we produce all of the plastic parts on our injection molds, but this is the last parts we are doing outside. And we were getting the injection machines, and we'll produce all of the composite parts in-house as well. So this will actually cover production from the smallest pin and spring to the barrel and all of the parts in-house.
All the parts. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's been several questions about this. So thanks so much for starting the corner and keeping it going. How are supply chains going these days? ? Any input on 7.62 shortage? There seems to be a lot of listeners that think there's a shortage on 7.62. Which
on the ammo?
Yeah.
Okay, in 2022, 7.62 ammo, you could buy it in bulk for 25 cents a round. Right now, it's 58 cents a round. So there is a shortage in that due to the fact that there is the embargo. As you know, I used to work with Wolf Ammo, helping them with their sales and some of their research and development on that.
Right.
And basically, the owner of Wolf Ammo was smart enough, along with his vice president, where they bought several warehouses full of ammo and were able to fill it before this happened, to shut down the importation of it. And I think Marco has an associate that did the same thing and brought in a bunch of Russian ammo with it. So basically what we're looking at is you're looking at a couple of old satellite countries that are trying to gear up and start producing the 7.62 that's needed. Now, there's a couple of U.S. companies that also produce the 7.62, but the days of 10 and 15 cent around 7.62 ammo is not here anymore. And that's the 223/5.56. And that's part of the reason we brought that rifle onto the market. Is it's more economical to shoot your AK with 5.56 than it is with 7.62, and the same thing with 22 ammo. It's more economical to be able to do it until this stuff all gets sorted out overseas. We won't have inexpensive ammo. On that 7.62 side, there's a war going on, so they're doing a huge draw. The Ukrainians have switched just about all to NATO ammunition and stuff that they're doing. There's a couple of old water cool 30 cals that they're actually using over there in the battle, so they're using up a lot of 308 also. So there's a lot of ammo getting pulled from that. I don't see the prices ever coming down unless that stuff opens up. So 7.62 is more expensive to shoot, and the 5.56 guns are less expensive to shoot and actually more accurate. So the guys that want the AK platform are going to have to basically pay the price for the ammo, or they're going to have to start looking at the 22 line and the 5.56 line. Marco, do you have any input on that?
I do. What I'm just going to second everything you said just now, but as far as I mentioned Tele Impacts, and I have no affiliation with these guys. I just know the owner, and we just talk every now and then about life in general. But Tele Impacts brings in 3 containers a month from Azerbaijan, 7.62 ammo, along with the 1 container of 5.45. So they kind of starting to make rounds in the industry. But like you said, it's 50 cents a round, probably going to be a price for a foreseeable future, and possibly rising to or staying somewhere.
Yeah, but the 3 containers is nothing worth it. I mean, it's nothing.
Nothing.
One distributor will take 3 containers in a heartbeat.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just to give you an idea, as a contrast, Wolf used to bring 42 containers of various calibers, but mainly 7.62, 42 containers a month in the heyday.
Yeah, and still behind.
Yeah. So those days are over and probably will never come back. But however, there is a source of a steel case, like a Soviet design M43 ammo is still there. But like I said, it's limited to 3 containers, which is $1 million per container, $3 million a month.
Now there is some ammunition that's going to be coming out before long that was part of the embargo, that you're just waiting to hit that 10-year mark for it to be released and to be able to come out. So there is some ammo that's going to be coming down in the future. So don't throw your 7.62 gun away, but it is going to be problematic for the near future.
All right. So Ton Jones says, this is for all those in the comment section. What ammo shortage on 7.62? I just purchased 4 cases of 7.62 with 3.9. I paid more in shipping than I did in October when I ordered my last 4 cases, but still no issues. Ammo Seek is your friend. Just a friendly tip.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of them. Ammo Sync, Lucky Gunner, a couple of those large companies that are doing that. You can still find the ammo out there. We're not saying you can't. We're just saying that the prices are going up on it.
He's just jabbing those people a little bit. So, there's several questions. I'm going to try to sum up these guys. They're about the 5.56 flood munitions, J. Edgar Paradox, Midwest Savage. Basically, it has to do with the ammo and the 5.56, 7.62, and 5.56, and good Lord, the 5.45, with the prices going so high. Do you see the 5.56 AKs taking off more in 2024, or have you already started to see that?
We've already had a product. I have models that are sold that I'll be here this week. That starting in November, we started to get heavier orders for them. So I have seen the movement of 5.56 guns over, and actually I've seen straight stock 7.62 guns and straight stock 5.56 guns pick up, whereas the underfolders, which we all thought would be huge movers, the underfolders have slowed down and the side folders have slowed down, and PPSs have come to a crawl.
I see the same
on
thing.
that, Bailey Muller says, do you plan to bring any more ComBlock SMG PCC clones to American market? I've seen the PPS 43 and am curious if you have anything else similar coming down the pipeline. So more of the historic type.
Yeah, I don't think so, because they have to understand, we have to have a working model to be able to do the reproduction parts, to be able to bring it in the US, because we have to change it, from a full auto to a semi-automatic to a closed bolt firing system, some of the changes that we may have to do for it. And I don't see us being able to bring that in, because all the surplus that we get now, if I'm not mistaken, Michael, you buy that from old military guns that the country has itself in warehouses and release them periodically for us to be able to purchase and do the remanufacturing of the different parts. So I don't see us having a window from another country, due to the fact that a lot of the countries that would have that are either at war with Russia or still friends with Russia. So I don't see those getting reduced where we would be able to do anything without going back and doing a retro design and then trying to bring in something that basically we had to start from scratch over.
But just we need to mention this because it gets overlooked. A true piece of history, and I would say not just any kind of history, but like a firearm design history, and it's available in its semi-automatic version, is PM63 pistol.
Yep.
And it's the interest. I mean, if you were gonna get a functioning gun, a real military gun with its sort of thoroughbred firearm design papers, this would be the gun that it's kind of stands on its own in its design and its layout and the way the gun operates and stuff. So it would be unbelievable and well-deserved kind of its placement in anyone's collection, that particular gun, the PM63 rack.
And it's a good thing you mentioned that, because there's not a lot of those left for us to convert. So the market is getting smaller and smaller on those. And I don't know the exact number. I'm sure Michael could go look it up, but it's not into the tens of thousands. It's into the less of thousands. There's probably less than 5,000 that can be made and converted and imported. I don't know the exact number. Michael would have to dig in his books to find that out, but that's it. There was a company that managed to buy a bunch of them from Austria, and they brought the guns in from Austria and imported them into the US, and they were all full auto. So they all had to be seized and destroyed as soon as they got here. And so that was a huge part of history that was lost. But we're running out of them, and so we produce them sparingly. And Atlantic Firearms and Classic Firearms are the only two companies that we sell those to. And the reason we do that is, one, most of our business is through distribution. We don't do direct sales. It's hard to do 1,200 individuals versus when you can go with two large stores as Classic and Atlantic. And we want to keep the gun there for those guys to be able to sell it out, and where you'd be able to get it out and to get a quality product.
Guns, Oil, and Dirt, and who's this? Several of these are comments welcoming you guys back. Welcome back, Pioneer Arms. So they just commented that, so that's great. Austin Whalen, So thank you, Austin, for that. Let's finish up with this one. And to the extent that you guys want to go into it, where'd it go? It's something about the factory symbols. Got so many questions here. So thank everybody for taking the time to post your questions, your comments. They're much appreciated. Where did it go?
If he's talking about the PPS 43, there's several different C's, B's, triangles with a 1 in it, that all indicate a different company that did the PPS 43s, because there were the countries that did it in 1944, 1945 inside of Leningrad, not Stalingrad, inside of Leningrad. And then after that, there's companies that would continue to make the PPS 43, and I think as far up into 60, but I know 58 had I believe the symbol of the C was stamped on the receiver for it. As far as our guns and stuff, you had the original guns that were coming out just had the 11 on the side of them, and then it went to a circle 11 to separate the two different companies. And then after Perestroika, the two different companies become one company because they were no longer the two different Soviet factories. We have the trademark for the factory 11, and we have it inside of our Archer thing. We don't have the right to use Circle 11, which is the factory that we got with there. So, I mean, it's the two main factories to build AKs for the Soviet Union during the Cold War period were Factory 11 and Circle 11, which are both in Poland, were two designated factories to do that. So those are what the markings are. And then our markings on side the gun are, as far as the logo, we have our Archer logo on the side of it. And then we have the starting of the PAC, which PAC, we have that on it. And then we have the year date, which is stamped inside of there, which we have to have but on account of Polish law. So unlike a Browning high-powered or something, or a 308 M1 Grand or something you picked up that you have to go and research the numbers for the year on, you can look at our rifles and tell what year the gun was made because it is stamped on the receiver. Did that answer? Did that help clarify some stuff?
I'm sure it did. Yeah, I can't find that question. It's in here somewhere. So whoever asked that question, if you want more that didn't answer your question, email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. And or we'll cover it on another show, another episode, I'm sure.
The history of the PPS 43 is readily available online, and it's a really interesting story on it.
It's going to be available here on the Talking Lead podcast because we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
We're going to do a whole episode on it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So looking forward to that episode. And speaking of Marco, we've got a whole season ahead of us. We've got more of the Pioneer Arms that we're going to talk about, the PPS 43, the PM 63. You and I were talking about camouflage last season. We're going to do an episode on the different camouflages that are out there. And what else did you have in mind for this season, Marco?
We should cover a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying there were several other things that you and I had discussed that we were gonna go in more detail on.
I think we should separate, like in Russia, we say separate the flies from the cutlets. So meaning we need to talk about various books that's available, like AK books that's available out there.
Okay,
Maybe,
such as this one.
Yeah, that's a really good. I have a signed copy of that one. It's a really good one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the author seems like he's kind of autistic,
yes,
but it's a really good book.
It is a really good book. And the book we're talking about for you listeners is the AK-47 Survival and Evolution of the World's Most Prolific Gun. Even though Marco makes no money from this whatsoever, it's still
my last royalty check was $26.
It's sad. It's so you need to reprint this, Marco, and
I'm thinking maybe I'm writing a couple chapters to it and do like a second edition.
Yeah.
Maybe designate, concentrate on the modern AKs available in the U.S. type of deal.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And yeah. But anyway, no, I'm saying there's a lot of really good books written by various people, and there's a lot of just a Wikipedia page rewrites.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be a good segment.
No, that'd be a great one. Yeah, I think we should do that, definitely. So lots of good episodes coming up. And then, of course, we talked about putting together a range day, doing a listener appreciation range day. So we're kind of in the works on that, getting something ready for that, doing a Marco experience range day. And then for our AK versus AR episode, our annual epic battle it out, we're wanting to take that to the range this year also. So
yeah, because it was like beating a little boy. That's what it felt like. You gotta find some better AR-15 people.
Hey, that's up to the AR-15 podcast. He's supposed to be bringing his A game, and I leave that up to him. So, yeah, they're the experts on the AR, so they're supposed to bring the experts.
I'm sorry, I get sometimes overly competitive.
You do, but it's funny, and it's a good time, and we have a good show with that. So I thought it would be better than words. We actually do actions instead of words for that episode, and just show people. So that's going to be fun. And then for our listener questions, again, Pioneer Arms is stepping up to the game. They're supporting the podcast. They're supporting you listeners. And every third episode, we're going to give away a firearm from Pioneer Arms.
What? Really?
But you're going to have to do more than just post questions, because that's not going to get it. And we're going to give you more details on that coming up on what you're going to have to do to be eligible to win the firearm. So, CJ, you want to talk about maybe one or two of the guns that we're going to be giving away this season?
Yeah, we're definitely going to give away a PM63, but we're also going to do custom guns. We're going to manufacture a custom gun for these individual events, and it'll be a limited edition gun complete with the serial number, a certification for the company, to make sure that it is a rare item that you have, probably a one of one.
Wow.
Item that we do. We go out there to a different variation of something that we're doing. I'm just not going to go back in the stock closet and grab out one of our sellers. I will personally get with my machinist, and we will sit down and we will take one of our basic rifles that we have, and we'll do some of the different adapters and stuff that we have here for it, and we will build a truly custom gun for this individual. That's a hammer. He can go out and beat it up as much as he wants, but it will be a unique gun that we do. On the second thought, where you were talking about doing a range day and something like that,
yeah,
I think we owe it to your listeners to maybe look at doing 3 range days. I think if we do one in the South, which we could do at my facility here in Florida, and then before it gets cold, we could do one at Marco's facility up in Michigan. You still have friends in Michigan, don't you, Marco?
A few.
Okay. And then we have Marco's facility. We could probably do something to bring lead heads in. And I'm thinking that you may know somebody around Murfreesboro that we could probably do one right there in the center of the Ohio Valley.
Or Nashville, yeah.
Or something like that. That would be more centrally located so that more lead heads could come and visit and see what we got going on without having to be such a burden on their pocket.
I like that. So I need your feedback, lead heads. Email me, talkingled@gmail.com. I want to know everybody's interest in the range day events that CJ just mentioned.
Marco's going to shoot his 203.
It's
or whatever it's called.
Yes, M203s.
Yeah.
That's going to be on the table.
That's going to be out there.
So it's possibly, but it's going to be more of like a demo, so we can't let people do it because it's too expensive. But we can do.
I'm going to let people shoot my belt fed, my butterfly belt fed. I'm going to let heads.
No, I mean, yes, if you allow me to put mine, just a regular PKM next to it.
Okay, we can do that.
And then, of course, like I said, we might have a demo for RPG-7.
Can we have a demo where we have some pallets on fire and we have a Spetsnaz jump over top of it and do a backflip?
That's airborne.
Well,
that's airborne.
It's what he's training his son to do now. But Let's give away our prizes. We need to wrap this up. So for our listener prizes for this episode, we're giving away the Mission First Tactical, Drinky Drink, giving away the SEAL 1 package, and then the Ultimate Gun AK Upgrade Kit there from Pioneer Arms. So let's start off with the SEAL 1. Which question do you think deserves the SEAL 1? Which question did you like for that? Or we could pick a number between 1 and 32 and do it that way. And I could count down.
12.
12. Okay. Guns, oil, and dirt. I mean, that's perfect for a SEAL 1.
He needed oil.
Guns, oil, and dirt.
Yeah,
he says,
he needed that.
His was Woohoo AK Corner, my absolute favorite. So there you go. That's why we're your favorite, Guns, Oil, and Dirt. It's because we're giving you a SEAL 1 and done complete gun care kit. You guys go to seal1.com, use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 25% off any of the products at SEAL 1. And they also have a new gun rod cleaning set. Second to none on the market. Absolutely high quality gun cleaning rod set for your pistols and your rifles. So SEAL 1 and done. Perfect. Guns, Oil, and Dirt. You know the routine. Email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Tell me what you won, and we're going to need your address. All right, next we're going to give away the Mission First.
How about the guy that did the first question about the 545? Because he probably needs to drink water and think about the ammo expense.
He needs to chill out a little bit.
No, he doesn't need to chill out. He just needs to think about the income that it's going to cost to go out and be able to shoot that gun at $1 to $2 a round.
So he can save the money from, not buying some of the free shit.
Right, getting it out, filling his bottle up with the hose. Yeah, absolutely.
He could use the extra free stuff.
Let's see. I think that FPS Murdoch, that looks like the first one that has the 545 question. He says, welcome back, Pioneer Arms. That said, can you gentlemen give your thoughts on the future of the 545 AKs? That's the one. So, yeah.
Yeah.
FPS Murdoch, longtime listener.
Congratulations, Murdoch.
A Mission First drinky drink. It might be the M18. It might be the C4. Who knows which one you're going to get.
Important thing is to drink water, take a knee, and pull security. Face out.
What about ibuprofen?
For the grand prize, the parts kit, the AK parts kit, upgraded parts kit from Pioneer Arms Corp. How do you want to do that? You want to pick a question, or you want me to pick a number here?
You want to go with the guy that asked questions about 556 when they're going to be available?
Oh, there were several. There were several that asked that.
All right, just pick 23 then.
Oh my gosh!
Right. Pick 11 for Factory 11. There you go.
All right,
unless it's Marco, don't give it to Marco.
That was my question, by the way.
It looks like it is Austin Whalen.
Congratulations, Austin.
Austin Whalen. He's in Texas too. So there you go.
So we know he has several AKs.
Oh yeah, he's got some AKs.
And probably a belt fed.
I think he might have been one of the winners from season 1.
So he's got stuff for his project.
So he can upgrade his help up if he got one of his help up. So there you go, lead heads. Again, thanks to everybody who participated. And I'm going to get you details because you're going to have to work for these guns. These guns aren't going to be just ask a simple question. You're going to have to participate. You're going to have to go sign up for newsletters and follow on social media. And we might even have you post pictures of yourself and tag. So these aren't going to be your normal just, ask a question type stuff. You're going to have to do it all to get these. We're going to make you work, Marco, right?
My favorite would be a 3 sentences essay about Pioneer Arms.
Yeah, most of our guys can't read.
All right. They'll use AI for that.
I would say dogs in the pictures would help a lot.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, okay. Good one.
Something to keep in mind there. And we'll have the details on the next AK Corner. We'll give you all the specifics on what you got to do. So you'll be ready for the third episode. And then, like I said, every third episode, we're going to be giving one away. And then is the PM63, is that going to be the grand prize at the end of the year?
We will say it'll be the grand prize at the end of the year, although it may be a grander prize before that.
Ah, that's what I love about CJ is he even surprises me with stuff.
I have a rifle in mind that we do not sell, that you cannot buy, that there is only one in existence. And for people that have been watching me on our Facebook page, Pioneer Arms US, have been watching us on the Facebook page, if they like it and share that Facebook page we have and follow it, and they go back and look through some of my videos, they might find a one-of-a-kind, unique AK that we have. That just may be going to them with the certification that this is the only one in existence of this type of model.
Oh, I think I know which one. I know which one.
I like this. So that's an example of things you're going to have to do to win these guns. So on Instagram, are you guys on Instagram too? You're on Instagram.
Well, on Instagram, and it's Pioneer Arms. I don't.
It's Pioneer Arms USA, right?
Yeah, I've got to get the guy that set it up to give me the password because half the people are blocked, and I don't really do it. I don't really do Facebook, as you know, begrudgingly. But I do stuff in to kind of help the company move. But I will say this one item that we're doing sells for as much by other companies that have made similar ones to this. For $2,000 to $3,000.
Oh wow!
But this will be the only one.
Well, I'm going to make up an account just so I can enter.
I have an idea, and this is more in the Michael's area.
Yeah.
For a grand prize, like at the price of all prices. You know how we touched on history and then Michael's great grandfather's cavalry unit. What were they armed with as far as like the sabers? Was it the saber? A particular design saber?
Sword? Is that what we're talking about?
Sword, yeah.
Yeah, they did have it, and it was it's more of a Middle Eastern curved design, and it's not the Saladin. I'll have to look to go back and tell you exactly what it was.
Not like Shashka, they call them, no?
No, it wasn't a Shashka. And
here it is. I got a picture of it.
To go back on that cavalry while we're talking about it, there's, a lot of people like to tell Polak jokes, and they all started during World War II where the Poles attacked the German tanks with pikes on horses.
Yeah.
And everybody said, that see the big curve on it?
Yeah.
So the Poles were told by the British, who were their close ally prior to World War II, about the German tanks were canvas and wood. So that's what they were told. So when the invasion initially started, all of these horse cavalry units attacked these armored vehicles on horseback because the Germans built these armored cars in secret, and the British said that they didn't exist. So that's where the whole Polak thing started, about how that the Poles were stupid because they attacked tanks with spears. And that's where that whole concept started.
But the idea I had was to have the replica with the unit engraved on it, Hobolt, and have that in the Pioneer Arms, of course, to have that as a great grandeur price.
That's a good idea.
We could try to find, maybe we can find one of the cannons they originally used and do the barrel on it. But that's something we could definitely go with as a sword on there, but we don't produce the sword. So
it'd be a nice emblem. Maybe you do a special release with that on the side of your AKs. That would be kind of cool.
Well, I think the giveaway guns are all going to have a special hand AK on it.
Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Sort of.
All right, guys, that does it for this episode. Again, big thanks to Michael and CJ for bringing back season 6 with a bang. Guys, we really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to, and you guys are welcome back on every episode if you want to come back on every episode. I know that you're here in the U.S. now, Michael, for a short time. So we definitely need to try to get me down there, and let's set up and do an episode from from the PAC USA headquarters.
Sunny Florida.
Sunny,
As it gets colder up there.
sunny and Hurricane Florida. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, let's just combine our joint effort and bring me down there.
Yes. Me and Marco will Marco, on your way down, you pick me up.
Marco's kind of expensive because he has to have a limo with a driver. He has to have a server in the back. He's kind of expensive when you take Marco places.
I got to tell you, man, on that trip that we took, I mean, we had our own driver and everyone, like a really nice bus that we were being carted around the whole country on. I mean, it was amazing, man. I enjoyed that.
We appreciate you you continuing doing this show, and we appreciate you giving us the option to be able to sponsor you again, Marty. Marco, of course, we absolutely love you on the show. The knowledge that you have,
Unreal.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I know there's somebody smarter on AKs out there. I just don't know if they speak English. So it's great having you on the show. We really appreciate this. We really believe in our product. We believe in the AK Corner, and we believe in the AK community. And we want to continue supporting it with the best products that we can.
Very good. And Leadheads, again, go to their website, which is, I got it right here. I got these graphics. PioneerArmsUS.com. And Michael, what is y'all's? Is it Pioneer Arms dash?
It's pioneer-pack.com.
Pioneer-pack.com.
And we have a new website that'll be coming out here that we're working on through some mutual friends, Marty,
Yes.
that we'll have out before long. And it's going to have, you'll actually be able to go look at the history. Plus, it'll have all the specs and stuff on our different firearms, and where to be able to purchase it, and a lot of other stuff that we'll have on it. More of an interactive website versus just come buy products to your website.
And our listeners know Black Tie. Black Tie is a sponsor of the show. So Black Tie Digital Marketing, they redid the Talking Lead logo. So they're responsible for our new logo that we had all last season. And you guys are going to have a newsletter, and that's where that newsletter is going to come in that I was talking about for participation. So all good things coming in 2024 for the AK community, for the AK Corner, for Pioneer Arms, for Marco. I don't know if you made any resolutions or not, but I know that the Leadheads have a lot of suggestions for you on your resolutions. But
yeah, you need to
go
grow
ahead, drop some.
You need to grow your beard.
you need to get thicker.
It only goes in certain places.
Gracias.
Until next month, Leadheads, go and study up on your AK. Get those brains churning on things that you can do to impress us with your AK knowledge and your AK artistic abilities. So we're going to elaborate on that. But enjoy the rest of your January, and this is a great kickoff to 2024. So we will see you next month, Leadheads. Out.
Pioneer Arms Corp USA is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead AK Corner and the Leadhead Brigade.